tonight, some of the things on our agenda is we're going to continue to talk about nutrition. I've got 2 health coaches with me, well 3 actually, I guess. But you got to hear their testimonies last week. We're not going to really go through that again, and so that we can actually spend more time in getting into more education. So this really is about educating. A part of education is unlearning, right? And I was cautioned by Lexi earlier that I think I gave a lot of don'ts. Don't do this last week. It's a part, but they come from, both of them come from the perspective of being a health coach, and so they want to give you practical things. That's why I'm going to let them. That's why they're up here. I'm the pastor. I'm just like, repent. Get delivered, get saved. Like, stop. Just go cold turkey on Coca-Cola, and then I know some of you maybe need to wean off a little bit. I understand, but we'll talk about those things. And again, we'll have a lot of question and answer opportunities. So, okay, bless you again. All right, so I do want to. Why don't you go ahead and throw up the two graphics I used last week? Do we have them? The tree of death. Let's put the tree of death up first. All right. This is from Dr. Bernstein, who's he runs the Advanced Wellness Center down in Fort Lauderdale. I was just there this afternoon. So as you can see, at the root of all disease is toxins or trauma, right? Toxins or trauma are at the root of all disease, okay? And that's going to lead to inflammation. It's going to lead to mitochondrial malfunction. Mitochondria are the power cells, or the powerhouses of the cell, and that's where everything begins to break down at the cellular level, right? Like the way we say, society is made up of families. When the families fall apart, society falls apart. Same thing with the cell. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about basically how to support your cells, your body, with nutrition, supplements, some of the things we're going to get into, and that's going to lead to reduced energy, and it's going to lead to all kinds of different diseases, right? So, and then go to the tree of life. So what we need to do is, it's all about energy, right? It's all about energy. So how do we support the energy of our bodies, right? We need calories. They're going to give you some practical things about how to count your calories and how to, just all these things. I mean, she's got all that stuff. I'll let him do that. But let me see. I'm trying to find this one. Come on. Here we are. So, go back to the tree of death. So we talked about last week. So there are 7 types of toxins of trauma, right? 7 types of toxins and trauma. So we'll talk a little bit about detoxing. We'll talk, we'll get into some of these things tonight. Number 1, of course, is physical. Like you fall, break an arm, you have an accident, sports injury, any kind of injury to your body is a trauma, right? Obviously, that's going to cause a damage. That's going to cause issues with your body, right? We're familiar with those things, right? Secondly, dietary. There's a lot of toxins that come into people's bodies through their diet. Poor quality foods, excess sugar, gluten. We talked extensively about some of these things. We gave you a handout on things to avoid, and let's just be honest. American diet is one of the worst in the world, period. If you get offended, I don't know what to say. I mean, but we know that we have a major obesity problem here in America. American people have been lied to. They've been told that seed oils are better than butter. I can't believe it's not butter, it's better than butter. All these things, we talked a lot about that. Seed oils, and I'm hearing now even some of these restaurants are going back to using beef tallow for frying their French fries. It's what it used to be. That's why, you know, McDonald's French fries used to taste really good in the 70s, 80s, but they're not the same anymore. And then people say, well, I used to eat that when I was a kid in the 70s, 80s. The ingredients are not the same anymore. You know, even, you know, a bag of Doritos, for example, what they're not allowed to sell in Europe or in Turkey, my nation, you know, you look at the list of ingredients, even just between the American and Canadian version. They literally make a Canadian version of a lot of these cereals, Kellogg's and stuff. They've been using all kinds of dyes, the red dye, the yellow dye, all carcinogen stuff, all toxic stuff in the food. That's banned in most other countries. There's over 1,000 items that are banned. I know President Trump is complaining that Europe is not buying our products, but our products are crap. There's another reason. It's not just the tariffs. Tariffs are not just the only issue. I mean, I personally, you know, I try to buy as much European products as I can when it comes to cheese or butter and things like that, imported things that are grass-fed, you know, because you got to be careful with pork now. They're injecting pork with mRNA. Now, of course, you know, the Biden administration killed over 150 million chickens because of the bird flu, and that's why there was an egg shortage and egg prices went up and everything. But now I'm hearing that they want to inject, you know, they want to vaccinate all the chickens. Well, I don't like that because I don't want to, because you eat the eggs, you're going to get the vaccine. So there's a lot of issues out there, but, you know, we need to talk about it. But the poor quality foods, we don't just have processed foods in America. We have literally ultra processed foods. The food is so badly processed, full of toxins and chemicals that, you know, it's terrible. And the fast food industry, of course, took off from America and spread around the world. And literally, I mean, even people in Turkey say, we were healthier before the American fast food came into our country. But even with that, you go to a McDonald's or Burger King, the product is still better there in Turkey than it's over here. There's a lot of things they can't use over there and so forth. But Dr. Pompa is a guy I follow on Instagram, and he was showing a Big Mac that was sitting for 7 months. It looked exactly the same 7 months later in the cardboard box, you know. That's exactly, there's so many different additives and preservatives in it. It doesn't mold, you know, and it's just terrible. So, and you eat that stuff, imagine all that's going into your body, and these are all toxins, huh?
I think that's the disconnect, though, is that people don't understand that, like, you know, they're like, oh, it's you know, when it's sitting there for 7 months and it doesn't do anything except, you know, mold a little bit. That's
No,
like,
it didn't even mold.
It didn't mold. That's what goes inside of your body. And so imagine what it's doing on the inside. And so they've made like a disconnect between the food and how it affects the body.
Right.
And so our aim is, you know, also is to try to do is to see how it's connected, the food and how you feel. See, if you look at the tree of health, you can see in the word health, it says heal.
Go back, yeah, there we go. I don't know if you can
heal.
see it, but healed. Yeah.
You know, and health is healing for your body. And so I think in America, there's this mindset that being healthy is not fun. It's like you don't get to enjoy yourself. And that's not true. Actually, you can live better, healthy. Amen? Hallelujah. How much fun is it not to be able to walk or not be able to get out of bed, be sick all the time, right?
Yeah, how much
That's
fun
not
is it
fun.
to be stuck in the hospital?
How much fun it is to be able to go on
17 different medications.
Yeah, and how, not only that, but how expensive is that?
Yeah.
See, God he makes it, you know, he wants us to live free of all that, not be in debt with medical bills and things like that, by making the choice, right, to choose life, to choose the right way, to choose health and healing.
So
Amen.
we're gonna discuss a lot about just going back to basics and eating natural, clean food. I call it clean food, to be honest with you. So the dietary is a major issue. Poor quality foods, excess sugar, gluten is a major issue, and there's a lot. The third type of toxin are chemicals, pesticides, plastics, microplastics. We talked about microplastics, remember? Last week, that average American ingests about 1 credit card worth of microplastics weekly. That's crazy because everything's wrapped in plastic now, right? I've even changed my toothbrush now. I use bamboo toothbrush with natural bristles, not the nylon stuff, Because you're brushing your teeth. Guess what? You notice how that stuff, how the nylon bristles start to just melt away. Guess what? It's actually going into your body. Because for the friction of your teeth, it's just the little microplastic particles. You end up ingesting a lot of that. So there's just a lot of research I've done, so trying to get as little going into my body as possible. Pesticides, plastics, medications, cigarette smoke. We talked about the chemtrails, over 49, 50, close to 50 different chemicals that they've been spraying into the atmosphere for many, many, many years, and you just cannot avoid it, right? The pesticides, the insecticides, stuff that's around, you just can't, a lot of it you can't avoid. It's a part of your environment, but we can learn how to protect ourselves and detox from those things. But then also make sure that we eat things that are free of pesticides and insecticides and all these other things, okay? So the chemical stuff, chemical toxins. The fourth type of toxins are metals. Mercury, aluminum, lead, cadmium, a lot of these other heavy metals especially are very, very bad, very toxic. And aluminum is a big one because everything's aluminum. How many of you guys used to wrapping things in aluminum foil and putting it on the grill? You need to stop doing that. And then also stop using microwaves, So all that aluminum goes in your body, and it's known now that Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, number one cause of it are microplastics and aluminum that actually affects the brain. I just saw a research. I watched a lot of different videos by a European a panel. They did an autopsy on patients that died with MS. 100% of them had parasites in their spinal fluid. So MS is actually now, it's coming out. Of course, you will never hear it here in America, multiple sclerosis, but it's actually parasitic infection that gets in the spinal fluid. 100% of everyone that did an autopsy in Europe, and they did thousands of them, they found, parasitic infection, parasites. So that goes to the next one. Number 5 type of toxins are viruses, bacteria, parasites, and candida. My world was open to the world of parasites last year. Didn't realize how terrible they were, how much parasites are in sushi and uncooked meat or half-cooked meat, So you got to be very careful. And pork and sushi are 2 of the biggest culprits. Pork is very bad because, pigs, they don't sweat. They're very filthy animals. And they took a pork roast, cooked it for 4.5 hours in 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and there were still parasite spores in it. So, you got to just be careful with that kind of stuff, And you can even get it from not washing things properly, washing your hands. So, so you got to be careful. Obviously, viruses, we know now that they're actually manufacturing and releasing viruses as biological weapons. Bacteria, candida is a big one. She can talk to you about candida. So number 6 is electromagnetic toxins. We are bombarded with so much electromagnetic frequencies now, so cell phones, computers, cell towers, it's just at an ever increasing rate. 5G is having a negative effect on people. It's now coming out that the graphene oxide that was in the COVID vaccine is actually 10 times more magnetic than iron. And because of the 5G, it starts coagulating in your body and connecting like little pieces of Lego and building things, like literally building itself and creating, blood clots, and people are dying from blood clots and all kinds of stuff, right? So how to detox from medication, how to cleanse your liver, because a lot of that stuff coagulates in your liver. So how to do a liver flush, how to do some of these things we need to really get into. And then number 7 kind of toxin is emotional, stress, negative thoughts, trauma, and all kinds of other things, right? So, amen. So I'm going to kind of stop there because I just wanted to kind of bring that to your attention, just a recap of what we talked about last week. Okay, so let's talk about what's on our agenda tonight. Okay. So we're going to talk about nutrition again, how to boost your immune system. Maybe we can talk about some supplements. We're going to talk about water. We're going to go to water here real quick. And then exercise. What else did we talk about? There was one other thing that we were... Weight loss tips and detox, right. Okay. So, where do we start? There's so much, right? Just keep your mics on, and so you can just go right to them and speak.
I just want to share a testimony from last week, because what we did last week was very good. And actually, I got feedback from Liliana and Janae. And Liliana actually went home, and she went through her pantry, through her fridge, with the list, and she actually got rid of so many products, and actually is looking for better products, and actually is gonna be helping me put together a list of good products that don't have any of the ingredients that were on the list. So that was actually really good, because it was a learning, eye-opening experience. And then same thing with Janae. She was actually asking me, she said, well, people are worried that what are we gonna eat? We can't eat anything.
There's a lot to eat. You can eat. You can definitely find food. So we talked about detoxing your home, throwing away all your plastic Tupperware, aluminum foil, everything. Stop wrapping things. Throw away your Teflon and everything. You got to use quality non-stick ceramic or stainless steel cookware. You know, the old school stuff, but you know, Teflon is very bad for you. Actually, it was a byproduct of military industrial complex. They were using it for tanks and stuff, and they figured out it's non-stick, and now they started making, you know, non-stick coating, but it's actually poisonous, and it comes off. You see it, you know, eventually peel off or shave off, and it goes into your body, and it's very toxic. It's heavy metals, just things like that. So you got to detox your home. Use glass only, and you know, glass containers. You know, even with, you know, that's why I drink water from a glass, not plastic, you know, because you also end up getting plastics from, you know, into the water, and because so much is in plastic now, you know. I was watching a video about how people go to Costco to their chicken or whatever, that rotisserie chicken. It's like one of the most popular items that everybody buys, right? But it comes out of the rotisserie, it's hot, and it has all that hot sizzling fat, and they put it in these plastic containers. Well, that hot sizzling fat sucks up all the plastic, and you're actually ingesting so much plastic through items like that. So just being aware of things like that is also very important, okay? Let's focus on nutrition, and then we'll get to water. So what do you have to say about nutrition?
So with nutrition, you know, you gotta look at food more than just fuel. You know, food is either gonna heal your body or cause disease. What does it mean? You know, when it's causing disease, you're gonna feel fatigue, brain fog, and other inflammatory diseases are gonna arise, like, you know, joint pain, arthritis, all of this. But if you choose dense nutrient foods like leafy greens, but you gotta make sure that these foods are not sprayed with pesticides. So you gotta make the best choices that you can. And don't get overwhelmed, because, you know, we're gonna go to the grocery store, and don't just think that you can't eat anything, but just try to do your own research and just choose wisely, but choose dense nutrient foods, like, you know, lean proteins and even fatty proteins, like, you know, ribeye steak and all of that stuff, but make sure that it's organic, grass-fed, grass-finished, and that you know where it's coming from. It is really hard to know absolutely every detail about where it's coming from, but at least do the best that you can. Same thing with fats. You know, choose the healthy fats. Do not go through seed oils. I mean, we have already talked about that. And then the main thing is that look at your food as a healing medicine, because you can actually heal your body by eating the right foods.
Right, so you gotta, I mean, it's very important to decrease carbs and sugar, and increase, and then obviously protein is very important for you, you know. I pretty much do protein, no carbs, and greens, and, you know, fiber, nutrient rich. I do nuts, various organic nuts, different kinds of nuts. That's my snack. People will go eat a donut. Donut's not a snack. Donut's poison, okay? I don't eat donuts. I'm sorry, but it's terrible stuff, you know. eat nuts and dried fruits and things like that. Those are my snacks. I got bags and bags of them.
And
in my
peanuts are
office.
not nuts. Peanuts.
Not
Peanuts are not nuts.
Peanuts are not even nuts. Peanuts are, it's a type of a bean actually. Yeah. So hazelnuts, walnuts, cashew, what else? Almonds.
Pecans.
Yeah. And for example, I have a mix of, I get bags of organic sprouted seeds that have sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and a couple other seeds, and I just throw that on my salad, and it's good protein, and I'll do like a salad. I'll do the organic spring mix, but I soak it 15 minutes in the 10 pH water, which we're gonna talk to you about, and then I'll just do like eggs, tomatoes, cucumbers. I'll do different things in it, and then I'll just do olive oil and imported balsamic from Italy, like the original stuff. I've just become very particular about what I'm eating, and then I'll do different things. I'll do like sometimes feta cheese on it, and I'll do like grilled chicken, and so it's just very clean and healthy, and I feel so clean and healthy after I eat it. I don't feel gross, seriously, so it's important how you feel. And you were talking about that. Talk about what you said about, how you feel after you eat.
Yeah, so it's really important to be able to stay in tune with your body. So after you eat, you should not feel fatigued. You should not feel exhausted. You should not feel brain fog or your inability to concentrate. And you're gonna really be able to figure that out 1 to 2 hours after eating. If you feel like crashing after eating, what you're eating is not supporting your body. And what ends up happening is that your blood sugar is being completely dysregulated with the amount of probably processed carbs, amongst other things that you're eating that's not good for your body. And one of the things that you have to remember is that I gave it out last week, so if anyone didn't get a paper, okay, you can see me and I can email it to you.
Do we still have more of those, what we gave out last week?
You can print more.
We'll print more for you. So she gave out, it's like a...
It's a tracking chart. So basically it has a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. And so you're able to check off the boxes, either a good reaction or a bad reaction. If you are having more bad reactions in each meal, then you need to adjust your proportions, and you probably need to minimize the amount of carbs that you're doing. Because again, that's just completely dysregulating your blood sugar. And one of the things to remember is, we grew up not eating colorful fruits and vegetables in our meals, so we need to think about the rainbow and eating different colors of different things in breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And again, the best you can, especially starting out, especially if this is the first time you've ever done this, is just incorporating one more thing every day, one more thing every week. And really understanding that it's the small steps that actually matter, and don't be so overwhelmed with all of these new things that you're learning. But again, because we come from a very processed world of processed carbs, it's just taking the steps and minimizing that as much as possible.
Okay. So you want to talk about?
I think a lot of it for me in the beginning when I really started on my health journey, because I used to be over 200 pounds and I was I had no idea what I was doing. And so for one of the things that really helped me was this mindset change on yes, it may, cooking food, preparing meals takes longer, but this is the food that I'm bringing into my body. And this is the food that's gonna help me feel better. And so meal prepping, planning ahead really helps. Instead of, in that dire situation when you're starving and you just grab something because you're so hungry and you just wanna stuff your face. Don't wait to that point,
And if you ever get to that point, have healthy snacks available.
That's right.
That you can run to those healthy snacks.
That's right.
Instead of some junk food, right?
Right.
So you gotta have a repertoire of healthy snacks.
Right.
A lot of times I get home, late at night. I'm not gonna eat, something heavy when I'm at home, but I'll do some snacks, nuts, dried fruits, and things like that. And then it's really good. You're getting good nutrition. You're getting, certain minerals, vitamins, and things like that. And my body agrees with it. I feel good about it. You don't want to eat something heavy late at night either and go to bed. And then it's going to cause other issues, digestive issues. So, and you've worked with about 160 people as a health coach, 160. So what was your experience working with people?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it was the mindset. It was the fact that like it's not that complicated, and that you can, and it just takes, it's a step by step, day by day type of thing. And I coached a specific program, but overall it was that, you know, the starting point was I have a goal. I want to set a goal for myself, and this is where I want to get to. And it's not just about a weight on the scale, but it's also what is that number? It's not just about getting to a number on the scale, but specifically, what does that number represent for you? You know, it represented for me personally being able to, it was, you know, it wasn't just about the number, but what about my experience on, you know, how my clothes would fit better, my confidence in myself, how I'd be able to show up, how I'd be able to communicate, even talking to somebody. You know, I don't know if many of you can resonate, but have you ever been in a situation where you're talking to somebody and all you're thinking about is what they think that you look like, or what you're wearing, right? Or how do you look in that outfit, or do they think I look, you know? And that's reality. Especially for women, you know, we've struggled with that. So for me, it was about getting to a place healthy and making me and feeling confident. And so it wasn't just the number, but my confidence and also how I felt, and also living life and optimizing life, you know, enjoying days out in the sun, enjoying time with my family, going out on the beach, you know, wearing a tank top and, you know, running shorts or something, you know, just like little things like that little by little, the devil will take from you, because you'll end up wearing all black, covering yourself in 100-degree weather because you're ashamed or embarrassed about the way that you look, and that's not freedom. So it's not just about the number on the scale, but also, you know, I want to get healthy because I want to be able to go run outside with my kids. I want to be able to run outside with my grandkids. I want to get healthy because I want to be able to go on a walk with my sunset walk with my husband and not be out of breath and like barely breathing, you know, and have to sit down in 5 minutes, right? So it's all personal and what it means specifically for you, and the fact that there are options and there is a way out, and you can do it, especially with the help of the Holy Ghost. Amen. Hallelujah.
So you had something you were going to give him. Go ahead and do that.
So
now.
I wanted to talk quickly about, you know, this is not necessarily about, you know, specific supplements or anything like that. I wanted to talk quickly about calorie counting, because at the end of the day, when it comes to weight loss, it is, and then, you know, if you're looking to lose weight and you need help losing weight, it's basically calories in and calories out. It's basically the easiest way to look at it. And so if you want to set a goal for, like, you know, a pound, like maybe a pound a week, that's a healthy way. So you think about how much is 1 pound a week? How many calories is that? That's 3,500 calories. That's 1 pound, okay? So how many days are in a week? 7. So if you take 3,500 calories and you divide them by 7, how much is that?
500.
That's 500. So basically what you want to do is if you want to do a healthy 1 pound a week, so in 20 weeks, you're down 20 pounds, okay? You want to make sure that you decrease your calorie count 500 a day, okay? So how do you get to that? Basically what you're going to do is you can do it all on your phone. You just pull up your phone and you just go to your BMR calculator, okay? Your basic metabolic rate is how much your body's burning per day, right? At your rest.
What calculator again?
A BMR calculator. And I have handouts for you, but it's basically a BMR calculator. It's basically how much does your body burn every single day just at rest, okay? And now, we're not resting all day. Some of us are more active and some of us are less active, right? If you have a job at a restaurant, you're more active because you're a waitress and you're serving and you're walking around and you're burning calories, right? But if you're sitting at a desk job, right, you're a lot less active all day. So basically what it is, and I think we have a graphic, it talks about like levels of, I hope this isn't confusing. I'm trying to help you is burning a day. And then what you do is, and how active you are, and then you multiply that and you decrease it by 500. And that gives you how much you should take in every single day.
Stage
so,
display, please.
Gloria, you want to help share with?
Thank you.
I mean, okay. So this is BMR for men, BMR for women. You don't even have to do it this way. You can literally just go on BMR or BMR calculator, and it will do it for you. You put in your height, you put in your weight, you put in your age, and it will tell you how much. Basically, this is an overall basics, not perfect, but basically how much you're burning every single day. And then it's multiplied by how active you are. Okay? And that amount of calories is how much you're burning every single day. So you want to eat less than that. 500 calories less than that. And if you do that the whole week, you'll lose 1 pound of fat. Like you'll lose weight, not water weight. Like you'll lose weight. So do you want to help with that?
You'll burn off the fat.
Yeah, you can also download an app that tracks how much calories are in the food that you're eating. So it's easier for you to keep track of. I believe Chronometer, we can send it to you. Yeah, but you can use that, and it can, anything that you have, you can scan the barcode. Like if it's something that comes in a package, which I mean, if we'd rather you not, but if you do, you can scan it and it'll show you the amount of calories that's in that specific food. And then you can just type in the actual, like if you're eating an avocado or you're eating a piece of chicken, you could type that in and it'll show you the calories, so that it's a little bit easier for people who feel a little overwhelmed by actually counting it.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna, there's so many apps nowadays that you can literally put in the food that you're eating and it will tell you how many calories it is. And so basically you're gonna be shocked. If you just begin to simply log your food, you will see the amount of calories in something that you think, for example, a whole avocado. I don't even know how many calories are in a whole avocado. But people eat 2 or 3 avocados a day. It's you're eating a ton. I mean, it's not bad, it's not terrible, but if you're trying to lose weight, you may want to cut back on some of that.
I think it's 70 calories.
Well, I think it's more, I don't know. But
I think it's more, but
yeah.
I think it's more because it has more fat.
Yeah.
But the other thing that you want to know is that not all calories are the same, because you can't be thinking that, I'm under the 500, so I'm just gonna eat Cheetos all day, and count it, just eat quality calories.
Yes, of course. And you're obviously the food that you're eating. I mean, you'll lose weight if you eat less than you burn, you'll lose weight. Okay,
but you're healthy.
But we want you to do it the healthy way. Okay.
What you eat is also very important, because you are what you eat.
That's right.
What you absorb, and so. Right. What's going into your body, right? You don't want to have unclean stuff coming into your body and toxins accumulating in your body because it's coming in through the food, right? That's one thing that you 100% have control of. Like I said, there's certain things we don't have control of, right? What's in the environment, right? And then we can learn the detox from those. And I don't know if we're ever going to get into detox tonight, but we may have to just do one more night next week and just talk about that. But
so real fast, Pastor, there's a thing, gymgeek.com. Gym, like a gym, geek.com. You can put in your information that way, and it will show you how to do it, okay?
Gym Geek, okay.
Gym Geek, yes. Yes.
Right, and it's important that, protein is very important for you. And what's happened here in America is that protein has been replaced by carbs. So you need to eat your body weight in grams of protein. So if you're 150 pounds, you want to get about 150 grams of protein every day, a healthy protein. That's important. But I also talked about eating according to your blood type. There's a book out there you can read, study that book. You can just go, you can even find it online just to summarize it for you. But eating according to your blood type. So my blood type is A positive, and I don't do too well actually with red meats. So I've actually had to cut as much as I like red meat, I don't eat it as much. And if I do ever eat red meat, it has to be grass-fed, grass-finished. I cannot even digest the corn-fed beef. It'll sit in my stomach for 3 days. It feels like it. That's another problem is, some of that stuff will take you a day and a half to digest completely through, honestly. So you want to be very careful with what you eat. So I'll do chicken, fish. Lamb is good. Lamb is a lot easier to digest than fat. And of course, I love lamb coming from Turkey. We eat a lot of lamb, So now there's this whole grass-fed phenomena, right? Grass-fed, grass-fed. Now there's grass-fed, grass-finished. Because they're grass-fed, but in the last week they feed them corn and grains and stuff to fatten them up before they go to the slaughterhouse, right? So grass-fed, grass-finished. With eggs, you want to try to get as much as possible pasture-raised, organic. Pasture-raised means they're out there in the pasture in the sun. This free range, or there's a lot of play on words. They're actually they call them free range, but they're actually in a warehouse.
Yeah, even with the pasture raised, I was doing research because we live in 5 acres and we have chickens, right?
Yeah.
And we sell eggs, and our chickens are truly grass-fed and pasture raised, because these chickens are out not only on our 5 acres, but in the back they go everywhere. They're free all day. But in reality, they don't even need that much space. For 500 chickens, they only need like 500 square feet, and they're considered pasture raised. So try to buy local eggs, from people that or people in farms and farmers market and stuff like that. Because honestly, even when we buy from the store, and I was actually shocked because I didn't know that. I was just assuming that everybody had their chickens out in the pasture. The other thing is our gut, is influenced, like our immunity is influenced by our gut. So 70% of our immune system is in our gut. And if we're putting poor quality food, this is gonna affect the way that we fight disease and how our body reacts and all of that.
Right, so the food makes everybody sick. And then of course they have to take all the drugs from Big Pharma. So big food and Big Pharma and big government, they love working together. And that's the big scam that's been going on. So eating clean and healthy food, educating yourself on that. We're giving you information here. You're the one who's gonna have to put in the work, obviously. And then, to get to the weight you wanna be at, So I've burned all the fat through my body the last, 7-8 months. Now I gotta work actually on more protein right now. That's kind of where I'm at. I've really got to work at my protein intake, and so to really supplement it, I'm having to do protein shakes. And you got to be careful with those too. It's got to be clean quality stuff. And energy drinks. Absolute no, please. Those things are horrible, horrible, and. So, yeah.
Yeah, energy drinks are really, really bad for you because they're very acidic. They mess with the pH of your body. Besides that, they use a lot of caffeine to promote energy. And it's just empty energy. It's energy that you don't even have. And it's just consuming your body. But at the same time, they also put very poor ingredients, and even the type, when you see B12, like Celsius or any of these, I don't want to even name all the brands, but all the different energy drinks, what they're putting is cyanocobalamin. This is a type of B12 that most people can't even metabolize, because more than 40% of the population can't even methylate that kind of B12. So your body
methylate means basically absorb it.
Yeah, it makes a process and, be able to use it for the next processes. So, and people are drinking 3 or 4 a day. It's everywhere. I always hear it, right. Especially.
So the best way, obviously, we talked about mitochondria, right? The powerhouse of the cell. That's where the energy goes. So what you want to do is build the mitochondria of your body, right? Put energy into your body, not energy drinks. Energy through clean food, okay? Fruits and vegetables and the healthy fats and the healthy meats and organic. That's what you need to do. That's where you need to get your energy from, okay? Not coffee, not energy drinks, not 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day to pick you up, because then you're gonna crash. Not sugar high, because you're gonna crash. So, and then you're gonna have major sleep issues. And now you're gonna have insomnia, you're gonna have other sleep issues that's gonna lead to other psychological, physical issues. And if you don't sleep well, you're gonna gain weight, or you're not gonna lose, it's gonna affect everything. Mentally, physically, it's all connected, right?
Yeah, I just wanna say sleep is very, very important for your mitochondria. If you're not sleeping the way you need to, your body's not able to recover. Your mitochondria is not able to rebuild itself. And so I know there's a lot of people who maybe aren't getting to sleep until 2, 3 in the morning, after midnight. That's something that you need to work on if you want an overall health. When you're trying to recover, when you're trying to heal, when you're putting the good food in your body, you need to sleep as well, because that's what's gonna make your entire body function the way it needs to.
Right, if you're up till 2, 3 a.m., you're messing up your biological clock. You're missing the best time of sleep, which is between, 10 p.m. and 2, 3 a.m. So I mean, those are very important. And they say that for every hour you lose after midnight, you have to sleep 2 extra hours. Seriously. So, and also, I mean, you get to bed late, you got caffeine in you, you got food, you've eaten late, heavy food and stuff like that, you won't be able to sleep. There's a lot of people also suffering from sleep issues, and sleep deprivation starts to cause mental issues. It also starts to cause physiological issues. So your body's not going to repair and recover. Sleep is important, so sleep and rest. What else you got on that?
Other ways to improve the mitochondria is doing movement. Yes, moving. It could be walking, jumping the rope. So I actually put together a list, but I don't think we printed it, but we can actually email it to you, because there's so many things that we can do, and there's so much to share.
We can make all of these documents that we have, we'll make them available on our website on riverwpb.com, and we'll put in like the resources, and they'll be labeled nicely and everything. So you can just go on riverwpb.com, and then you can go to the I think it's either the blogs, Pastor, right? Or
it's going to be in the sermons.
It's going to be under sermons, okay?
Video. We'll have the videos of the seminar,
and so
all
the
alongside
handouts
with the resources we'll provide for you.
Yeah,
we've been giving you handouts.
Yeah, so exercise, and by exercise, it doesn't mean that you have to necessarily go to the gym. And, if you have knee problems, you don't need to have a lot of excuses. You can also just walk, just walk, or even a rebounder, you're having one of the little trampolines.
Trampoline also is good for your lymphatic drainage.
It's so good for lymphatic drainage. It's so good. And besides that, jump rope, just basic, low-cost exercise, things that you can do every day. And it's just, even if you start with 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you increase from there, you're gonna see tremendous results, not only on your body, but inside of your body. Your cells are gonna be able to turn over and, clean up, and then feed the mitochondria. The mitochondria needs to be active. And, like Pastor Corey was saying, is the powerhouse of the cell. And what we eat is what feeds it. So if you're eating a high carbohydrate diet, that is impacting the mitochondrial health, because it's not able to take any of the energy. You could be eating a ton of carbs, and that's like blocking the mitochondria. The mitochondria is not able to use that. You wanna eat healthy fats. And actually, even if you go low carb or even like somewhat keto, keto is awesome for mitochondrial health, because the mitochondria is going to get 30% more ATP. ATP is the energy that works inside the mitochondria to give it power. So it's pretty cool.
ATP is your energy. I think, a lot of people just are very low on ATP, honestly, which is cellular body energy. Remember, everything's energy. Everything's electrical and energy in your body. Your body's a computer, and it's full of energy. It's full of, electrical flow, communication between cells. We talked about that last week too. When the cells begin to malfunction, different organs, they all have their own resonant frequencies, and the frequencies start to break down, and then the communication starts to break down between the organs, various parts of the body, and then one thing throws off another thing. It can cause a chain reaction. And the problem with modern medicine is everything is, segmented. Everything is isolated. The cardiologist will come, just look at the heart, and then give you medication for the heart, and the neurologist will come and go, wait a minute, that's messing up this. They don't even talk to each other. That's why, this holistic practice, and, about 100 years ago, at the turn of, the previous century, there were hundreds and hundreds of what we call homeopathic hospitals in America. 70% of medicine was homeopathic medicine. But what happened was the big oil companies, especially Rockefeller, and then the pharmaceutical companies and tobacco companies, they all got involved, and they completely altered and re-engineered healthcare in the United States. The financial institutions and the hospitals, everything became big business. Everything became what we call allopathic medicine, which is all the pharmaceuticals, synthetic stuff, okay? And then all the herbal, homeopathic knowledge, much of it was lost. So there are very, very few of, homeopathic practitioners left that understand botanicals, the energy frequencies of various things that you can actually, a lot of the homeopathic medication, homeopathic medicine, we call it, is based on basically the frequency energy of natural God-made products that go into your body to reactivate certain, frequencies and energies in your body. And this is not New Age, so don't get me all, Pastor Corey is going New Age. No, this is real stuff. This is science, okay? And so this is not hocus pocus and weird stuff. And then you start talking about like this, people misunderstand you. So you need to understand, I'll just tell you right now, Pastor Rose is killing tapeworms that got in her body. And all she does literally is spray into her mouth mineral water that's loaded with the frequency of what Dr. Bernstein put in there. It's called tapeworm destroyer. And they're just dying off, and they're disintegrating and coming out. We see them every day. I document everything every day. We were just showing them again. Literally the frequency is killing the tapeworm, which is very effective because when you take a pharmaceutical to kill parasites, your liver has to process it. It has to go through. It just messes up other parts of your body, and then they usually die off in chunks. So this thing is just amazing. Literally, they load the frequency of the tapeworm into the thing, and it destroys it. It's actually breaking apart the mitochondria of this living organism, and it's just dying off. And that's what we call homeopathic medicine. A lot of this knowledge is lost, but I study a lot of it now because of what we've gotten into, having to learn it also for myself. So, and then we do a lot of botanicals, all plant-based things that they're usually in like an alcohol type thing. You can put drops under your tongue, and then you just hold it there for like a minute, and you just absorb. And so there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of what I would call alternative medicine. So it's a big, humongous field. I don't know if we're really going to be able to get much into that tonight. I think we'll probably need to do a part 3, talk a lot about this alternative medicine, because everything that you do, all the protocols that you do with the detox and the cleanses and liver flush and everything and supporting it's all herbal, it's all, botanical and natural medicine, right? No pharmaceutical, nothing synthetic, which, you went through her protocol for what, 5 months? 6 months, and then you're also certified in some of these products. You're becoming more and more familiar with these things, and
and you can also do it the homeopathic way, which is it's different because you're not using herbals. Then you're just using pure homeopathics. But everybody's different, and you gotta evaluate the person and see what is more suitable for them. Some people can't tolerate herbal at this moment, but may be able to tolerate homeopathics, and then vice versa. Some people might need to have a more, comprehensive approach where they need to do more of the herbal stuff. So everybody's gonna be different. It's not like a one size fits everybody, right?
Yeah, antibiotics is a big problem. Everybody's on antibiotics. You go to, as soon as the first thing, put you on antibiotics. They're destroying your gut biome, killing off all the good bacteria. You're messing up your flora, and all those antibiotics stay in your body. It goes in your liver. It goes all over the place, and it's bad stuff. There's a lot of natural antibiotics. I don't do antibiotics. I do natural stuff. Oil of oregano or propolis, bee propolis. And there's a lot of stuff you can do, black seed oil and things like that. These are all natural antibiotics. And I've got now volumes and volumes of books that I've purchased on homeopathic and herbal and botanicals, and learning what all these things, because God created all these things. And mankind lived on them for thousands of years, literally until the last 100 years. Until the last 100 years, you know. They knew what to do, you know. There's all different branches of medicine. There's the Chinese medicine, there's the German thought of medicine, and then there's, you know, a lot of, you know, my grandmother knew, oh, you have this, take that leaf and grind it up and drink a tea. I mean, they just knew these things, right? We grew up with these things in Turkey. They still have them. They still have a lot of these natural, you don't find them here in America at all now, but you know, in Istanbul, I loved it. I went there, and there's like literally 85 different teas you can get from all kinds of leaves and dried things, and they tell you this is for that is for that, and the guys, they're like, you know, he's 80 years old, he's done this his whole life. He's like, he knows more than doctors know. He says, doctors come to me, I heal them. Seriously, you know, it's true. All this stuff, you know, and these different spices, what they do, and you can make different, you know, teas, you can have, you know, obviously there's tinctures, there's syrups, there is all kinds of, you know, there's rubs, essential oils, a lot of stuff. It's all God, stuff that God made. God put everything in nature to support what we need. The problem is all the synthetic stuff. It's terrible. It's bad.
There's actually a quote, right? Let thy food be thy medicine.
Yeah, and thy medicine be, Aristotle said,
okay, there we
let
go.
thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food. Yeah. So it's ancient remedies that have been lost, and a lot of this stuff has been deleted from history and from memory because they don't want, people go to medical schools and they learn nothing. They graduate from medical school, the only thing they learn is how to work within the system and how to make money, get kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies for for writing, you know, prescriptions. That's all they do. They're not in the healing business. They're in the keeping people sick and making money business.
And there's many things that we can do at home even to support our gut microbiome. And if you don't know what the gut is actually our
second brain.
Our second brain, and it's also the microbiome that is in our stomach that actually is able to give you your immunity, is able to help you digest your food and everything. So there's many things that you can actually do at home, like even start your own fermentation process, right? Like kefir and sauerkraut and even fermented tea or anything like that that you can actually make at home, and it can actually feed your gut microbiome with probiotics that are live and that is so inexpensive to make. You don't have to just go and purchase a probiotic. Do I take a probiotic? Yes, I do. But that's just my choice. But there's so many other things that you can do to support your immune system just naturally at home. And it's just learning and exploring. There's so much information out there that the only thing that you have to have is curiosity, and just use your Holy Ghost sense to tell you when something is good and when something is not good.
Yeah, ChatGPT.
Or ask ChatGPT.
I
confirm.
ask ChatGPT a lot of questions, and I get a lot of information, and I process. And I've actually helped my wife fix a few problems we had recently just through my own research. Because, you know, you get to see the doctor every other week or whatever. What are you going to do in between when something shifted? You know, like she's in a place where constantly something is shifting, you know. So she had, obviously, with all the stuff, she had a lot of major digestive issues. And now her digestion has really improved. And then it got to the point where now, you know, she was oversaturated with the probiotics and the prebiotics, so we had to cut back on it. She was taking some additional ox bile that became too much. We had to cut back on it. So you're always making adjustments. You can't just keep doing the same thing. And here's another issue. People say, well, I just take this multivitamin. It's a really great, you know, product, and I've been taking it for 10 years. After about 3 months, it was no good for you anymore, probably 6 months. You need to be rotating stuff. Same thing with your probiotics. I rotate my probiotics. I finish one bottle, I'll do another one, I'll do another one. And so, of course, I didn't know a lot of this, so I learned a lot from Dr. Moika. I learned a lot from them. I learned a lot from researching. We learned a lot from her too. She came to visit us a lot. Daniela comes and visits us a lot, and then, and I wanted, Denise Skinner was also going to help us a little bit, but she's with Patrick at the Healing School in Tampa. But, so she's helped. We just learning all the time, and and we've had a lot of things go wrong, and it was terrible, but we learned through it. And I look back and I'm like, I know that was a terrible experience, much worse for Pastor Rose and me, but of course I had to, be there through the whole ordeal as well. But then it's like, oh man, I really learned a lot from this, and I'm like, I know that sucked to go through it, but I'm thankful that I actually learned a lot from this, so.
I think too, it's really just having an awareness of your own body and what's happening to you, and what you can do, your own self, and just research and learn. And I didn't know that I would eat, I would eat a peanut, a specific type of peanut, like butter, and it would make me itch a lot. And so I didn't just go take allergy medicine and then I recognized, okay, when I eat this, it's making me itch, so I need to not eat it because my body's reacting badly to it. I don't need to go take a medication to solve my problem. You understand? Maybe when you eat this, your stomach is hurting, okay? It's not sitting well in your stomach, so don't eat that anymore. And you don't need to go take more Tums, hey, look, Chat GPT, what tea can help ease my stomach, and then go have a ginger tea
or chamomile tea,
or chamomile tea. So I think it's just an awareness of what's happening and recognize, how you're reacting to certain foods or not reacting.
And she can also help you do a food allergy test. I think you check for about 200 different things. Just a little prick.
Yeah, it's 176 different foods and chemicals that are in our daily life. And if you're someone who's always reacting to different foods, or you just really want to understand what foods are actually right for you and what aren't, that's a really great test if anyone's interested. And it's literally like a whole map. And you have a little card that says what you're extremely sensitive to, which is in red, and then moderately sensitive, which is yellow, and then greens are what are gonna be really great for you. And you'd be surprised what comes up. Some vegetables end up being something that they can't eat because their body can no longer digest it anymore. So it's a really good tool if, again, you're trying to figure out foods and you're having a lot of gut issues. If you don't get rid of the food sensitivities from your gut will never heal. It doesn't matter how many supplements or things you do. You need to get to the food of it, for sure.
Yeah. So, okay. Wow, we just keep going and going. How are we doing?
Talking about ancient remedies, actually, these are called ancient remedies cards. And it actually has all your basic things that we might have at home, like celery seed, balsamic vinegar, dandelion, cranberry, cinnamon. And this is a card that is for blood sugar. Let me pass it to Pastor Corey so he can see it. And but actually here you can find recipes and everything. And so you can come later and just take a picture of this, and then that way you can actually see things that you can actually do at home. It's maybe as a kidney protective smoothie, or refreshing parsley lemon dressing, cilantro detox soup. It's actually pretty comprehensive. They come 6 different cards. And I just got this last week, so I'm going through them myself. But there are things that I already knew, but I really like how these came, displayed, and it's easy to read and everything.
I've got all this stuff on. I got similar things on protein-rich nuts and seeds, peanuts, hemp seeds, almonds, sunflower seeds. I eat almonds, sesame, pistachios, pumpkin seeds, flax seed, cashew, chia seed, walnuts, Brazil nuts. So these are nuts. And then also you can have protein-rich legumes like lupin beans, edamame, lentils, black bean, kidney beans. Not everybody can do beans. Obviously, it could create gas, but white beans, chickpeas, mung beans, pinto beans. So there's other places to get protein from. So I don't do well with beans. There's only a few beans that I tolerate well. I used to do better now. I don't do as well now, but I definitely, besides the meats, I'm trying to get my proteins also from healthy organic nuts. You know, for me, I'm totally gluten-free, wheat-free right now. So the only, you know, for bread, I'll eat, you know, that almond bread you made was really good. And then I just get like buckwheat with sprouted buckwheat with sea salt and seeds. That's what I eat. So, because I love bread. That was my biggest challenge. Like, how in the world am I gonna go? I love bread so much because turkey is all bread, but bread was my Achilles heel, to be honest with you. Bread was what gave me that little gut that I had to get rid of, you know. So, yeah, bread and pasta. That was my Achilles heel. So I had to get away from it, and you know. And now I don't even think about it. I don't even desire it because my body is readjusted. You want to take questions now or later? Okay. All right, hold on. I need another mic to run. Oh, right there. Hey. We can hear you, but people won't hear you on the recording, so.
If anyone is interested in making kombucha and the kefir, see me. Kombucha is the fermented tea, and the kefir is fermented milk.
Yeah.
Right?
And actually, that's where my first batch of fermented tea came from Karen West. She actually gave me a baby, a SCOBY, which is a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. And I actually looked at it in the microscope. At my office, we have a phase contrast microscope. And I wanted to see if it was alive or not. And guess what? It is alive. It has all the great bacteria.
So the one you brought us came from her?
Well, no.
The culture
this
came
one,
from her? No.
The mother came from Karen.
Right.
And
okay,
it's been 2 years since she gave it to me.
Oh, wow.
And it's still alive and very productive. I have so many SCOBYs and they're so healthy. It's amazing. It's so amazing. And it's such a great way to learn how to do these things. It's just very cool.
Yes.
3 short questions. What kind of feta cheese?
What kind of feta cheese?
Yeah.
I go to the Middle Eastern market, get the ones that come from Turkey.
What?
They come in big cans.
Okay. Where's that market at?
Where is it at? I haven't been in so long. I sent Dean Seta.
There is one in Green Acres.
What is it called?
Futon has them.
Grand Bazaar.
There was Sultan's downtown. They closed, so now they're only in Boca. It's too far. And then there's also the Green Bazaar down in Green Acres somewhere.
Okay. What kind of balsamic vinaigrette?
Balsamic vinegar.
Where was it from?
Moderna. Well, the Italian pastor from Moderna brings them. I mean, they make it there, and they're like 30, 40-year aged balsamic. It's amazing. I got bottles and bottles of it. But you can buy some. They have them at Whole Foods. You can get the ones that come from like the Bologna, Parmigiano, Reggiano, Moderna area. That's where they make the cheese also, and they make that stuff. It's, people in Italy eat all this pasta and they're all slim because they don't have, the pasta doesn't have all the gluten that our pasta or the wheat has here. So that's the problem. They added all these strains of gluten to the wheat here in the wheat revolution in the 50s. And that's the problem. Hold on 1 second. I think she had one more.
Yes, it does, but...
What was it?
Dried fruit have sugar.
Does dried fruit have sugar?
Yeah, natural sugar. God made sugar, yeah. Make sure that it doesn't have added sugar, some other junk that they added to it, that it's natural, it's organic, yeah.
But if you have somebody that is dealing with type 2 diabetes or anything like that, high sugar, do not eat dry fruit.
Obviously.
Definitely not. That's not something you want to consume because even though it's fructose and it's God made, that dry fruit is gonna have a high glucose content no matter what.
Yeah.
And people don't eat any in moderation.
Yeah, I do.
People
I
get
do very
addicted
little in
to
moderation. I'll do like a couple of dates and maybe a apricot or prune or something like that, 1 or 2, and then some nuts. That's my snack, like at night. Yeah, not a whole jar of nuts in one sitting. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Pastor, thank you for the seminar.
Yeah.
My first question was, I looked up the book that you mentioned, Eating According to Your Blood Type.
Yes.
There are 2 different books, similar titles by 2 different people. Which one are you recommending?
Oh, I'm not sure. Let me find. Tell me the names.
Actually, I have to pull it up again. Sorry. Sorry.
It says, Eat Right for Your Type. That's the one.
Okay.
Eat Right for Your Type. Peter Adamo, Dr. Peter J. Adamo. That's the one.
Okay. Yes, last week it was mentioned colonics and so on and so forth. Will information be provided on how to do those things, or do we need to talk?
You don't do them at home. I mean, you can do like coffee enemas or tea enemas and stuff at home.
Right.
I have an enema kit and things. We've done it a few times. Not a big fan. But colonics, you have to go to a professional that has the machine that does it. It's a whole hydrotherapy. They have to be licensed. As a matter of fact, the lady that we went to, I was in her office, and I'm looking at her certification. It said 3650 Shawnee Avenue. I'm like, what? MCI, Institute of Technology. Before we got this for the church, this was a school where they did training people like that. So she got her certification here back in the early 2000s when this was a school. I'm like, I said, hey, my church is that address now. Where you went to school is where my church is at. I'm the pastor of the church. It's funny. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, we're gonna do water. Oh, okay, one more question, then we're gonna do water.
So, like, I don't eat pork, very little red meat, mostly just chicken. But what's your take on tofu?
Tofu?
Yeah. Is that
No.
Soy, and most of the soy and corn in America is GMO. I would avoid it. No, if you do soy, sometimes I'll do organic soy sprouts on my salad, just a little bit as a garnishing. But I'm not a big fan of soy.
I wouldn't use tofu because it's highly processed.
Yeah.
To get tofu is just a lot of that goes on, and you don't want to do that. Just try to eat other proteins.
And again, so with the chicken, you got to be careful. You got to get the organic. But I get the air chilled organic chicken from Whole Foods, and air chilled is because once they slaughter the chicken, they put them in chilled rooms and in the air, and that's how the blood drains out. Otherwise, it could be an organic chicken, but they'll just wash it in regular tub of city water, and then you got all the chlorine and the bromine and everything that's going to go in it. So there's a lot that goes on with that. So get the best quality chicken. And I actually found another one. They don't always have it, but it's very, very small, tiny little chickens. It's like the original chicken that grows over like, huh? No, not Cornish hen. No, I'm not talking about Cornish hen. I'm talking about chicken. Okay, do you realize that chickens used to be about this big 50 years ago? Now they're the size of a turkey, okay? All right, so that's all altered stuff. A real God-made chicken from 100 years ago was about this big. You probably get a little tiny, it was no more than maybe 3-4 pounds, 5 pounds at most. Now you got these 10-pound chickens and 12-pound chickens. It's all altered stuff, so that's the thing you gotta be. Why is that bad for you? Because all the hormones and everything in it is going in you, and whatever made them go big is gonna make you go big.
Yeah, and to be honest, because we have chickens, we have never eaten our chickens yet at this moment, but because they're being very productive with eggs. But, when we started to get chicks, when you go to Tractor Supply, you can buy meat chickens. And you can actually buy those, and they will get fat in 8 weeks. And they said that if you don't slaughter them within 8 weeks, their legs start to break and everything else, and they recommend you to feed them a special diet, which I suppose that is loaded with the things that we don't want. So we actually bought meat chickens, and we never fed them that and they grew normal, like normal chickens, and they didn't become huge or anything. But I had spoken to other people, and they said, oh, you gotta kill them in 8 weeks because their legs start to break because they get so big. So that's why, when we see those huge chickens in the stores, definitely they're loaded with tons of hormones and even
growth hormones, antibiotics. They've been fed GMO, grain. Yeah. So whatever they've eaten, you're eating, and whatever they've eaten, you're eating. Whatever they've been injected with is what you're being injected with. That's what you need to understand. That's why they're injecting all the pigs with mRNA vaccines now. And if you eat pork, you're getting an mRNA vaccine, whether you like it or not. Okay, all right, so now, listen, we're gonna do a whole thing on water because this is crazy. There's a whole science to water, right? Did you know that? Okay, how many knew the whole science to water and who did not? All right, so we're actually involved with a company called Vollara, so we have a living water machine. And this is like a Kangen, and maybe if you've heard of some of these things, but this living water, we're gonna demonstrate what living water is about. Obviously, it's not dead water, it's living water, right? It has a multicolor LCD control panel that tracks performance, including total liters produced, all the life indicators and pH settings. So we actually create real pH water. So we have Essentia here. How many of you have heard of Essentia, this 9.5 pH? It's fake. It's a fake pH water, and we're gonna prove that to you. It's actually reverse osmosis. It says, basically, it's just tap water that's reverse osmosis, purified water, and they add sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda, and dipotassium phosphate, and magnesium sulfate, and calcium chloride. So they add these things to make it, basically fake pH. What living water does is basically, it's called ORP, oxidation reduction potential. It takes oxygen out, so it makes it an antioxidant water. It actually adds hydrogen. So when you say pH, it means power or potential of hydrogen. So real pH water is gonna have hydrogen in it. When you actually see the water come out of the living water, it's almost like almost fizzy and cloudy, because it's actually got hydrogen in the water. That's what makes it real pH. So hydrogen water is actually a very important thing. A lot of pro athletes and triathletes and a lot of these people that do high level sports, they understand the importance of drinking hydrogen water, and then you can actually buy them in bottles. They can come from Japan and stuff like this. Very, very expensive. So
yeah, and now lately it's been like a big hype with the hydrogen water, because hydrogen is the smallest element in the periodic table, and it's the smallest molecule that can actually get into your cells and hydrate you. So now there's a big hype with that, but now you can buy hydrogen bottles on Amazon and all over the internet. But be careful, because some of these hydrogen generators, what they're doing is that they can actually create chlorine. So this one doesn't. So this is the H2 fuel from Vollara, and this one is gonna infuse your water with hydrogen, and it's amazing. And we're gonna actually test it. I'm gonna test the pH too before I test the.
So the machine is basically direct disk ionization technology. It's very easy. You can connect it to just a regular tap. It's got 2-stage carbon filtration in it. It's good for 10,000 liters. It's got a whole thing it tells you, and you can get a kit. It's very easy to maintain. It comes with a 5-year warranty. Be careful, don't shock yourself. Comes with a 5-year warranty. And so what it does is it basically, there's a whole science to water. First of all, obviously, these are all, fancy names. Aquafina. This one is made by either Pepsi or Coca-Cola. Which one makes this one?
I think it's
yeah, and then is this Dasani? That's Coca-Cola. Aquafina is Pepsi. Okay, so watch this now. Okay, let's start over here. Okay, so that's Zephyrhills. Watch the light. You see the light? Hold on. The light go on?
Oh, it is on, yeah.
Yeah, the light is on.
Yeah.
You see the light is on.
Yeah.
Give me this one.
Well,
It's fine. You see the light is on. Okay.
Yeah.
Go to Aquafina. Whoa.
Light is off.
Light is off. Light is off. What is that one? Smart water. Very dumb water. Light is off.
This is Essentia.
Essentia. Light is off.
Supposedly has.
Yeah. And then let's go to living water. The light comes on. Stronger. Look how strong the light is. Look how strong the light is. Go back to Zephyr Hills. Very dim. Okay. So you have light, you have life. What does that mean? Mineral content. These are all mineral depleted waters. I mean, I had them also bring a Zephyr Hills just because it is spring water from Florida. I mean, if nothing, this is about probably one of the better options. The problem is, of course, it's in plastic. That's the major problem. Okay. So now we're gonna look at the pH. He's putting drops in the water. We're gonna test the pH of the water. Okay. So these are all reverse osmosis, mineral depleted water. It's dead. It's dead. That's why there was no current going through it. It's depleted of minerals, and your body needs all these minerals like potassium, magnesium. I mean, all these things are very important. Different kinds of minerals that your body needs. All right. So, okay. So let's look at the colors. Try to zoom in on these. Okay.
So here we have.
Hold on. All right. That's Zephyr Hills.
Zephyr Hills. You can see.
Where's your mic? Yeah.
Okay, so you can see a Zephyr Hills is kind of blue. So that's probably neutral pH.
Yeah, it's probably just over 7,
Yeah.
7.2. 7 is neutral pH. Anything above 7 is alkaline. Anything below 7 is acidic. Acidic water.
This is
yellow.
This is Aquafina, yellow.
It's probably about,
yellow.
I think we tested it to be about 5.
Yeah,
4.5.
Even 4, yeah.
And so you're drinking dead water that's acidic. You can drink bottles and bottles and bottles of this. It's not gonna do anything for you. Honestly, you're just gonna, you're gonna pee it out and you're not gonna get anything from it. You're not gonna get hydrated. Okay, that's the problem. And you're putting acidic water in your body.
Yeah.
And cancer needs acidic environment. All disease likes acidic environment. That's why also when we talked about food, that's something we didn't touch on, but a lot of the food is acidic food, right? Fried food, acidic. All the fast food is acidic. You know, people eating so much acidic food that their body becomes acidic and they become sick. The body's actually eating itself. I mean, think about, so.
Yeah, then we have smart water. This one is about a 5.
It's about a 5, it's green.
Yeah. Then we have Essentia. This one claims that is 9.5 pH, and you notice that it didn't even light up the bulb. So even though it has minerals.
Do we have a straw?
A straw, oh.
Oh, remember we blow into
yes.
it. When we take a straw, we blow into this, make bubbles, put oxygen, it goes down, it goes green. It becomes acidic because it's fake.
And then here is the living water. And if you can observe the color, it's really deep purple.
Deep purple,
This is a 10 pH.
Real 10 pH.
So 10 pH, potential of hydrogen. It means that it's not just the pH. It means that it has, oh, wow, we got a straw.
Who's gonna do the honors?
You wanna do it? Yeah. It's changing already. So now it's acidic. That's the Essentia. Do you wanna?
I'm gonna go on America's Got Talent and look how it turned yellow. You know, that's about 4 pH acidic. You know what I did when I put bubbles in it? I blew out the stuff they added, and which was fake. If you did that with living water, it's not gonna do it.
Yeah. And now look at this. Look at living water can do. And actually, I'm gonna use it from the bottle, but look. It can alkalinize all these waters. So, look.
Because now you're putting real alkaline water in it, not fake.
Yeah. This is what it will do to your body.
Infused with hydrogen, so it has real potential of hydrogen pH, not fake stuff with the chemicals they put in it, right? So why is living water so important? First of all, when you have alkaline water, the water is going to be negatively charged, and your body is positively charged. Your cell membranes are positively charged. All this acidic water is negatively charged. So what happens when you put two magnets that are negative? What do? They boom. So your body's not even going to absorb this acidic water. You're going to drink it. You're not going to get any minerals from it. You're not going to get any life from it. You're going to just pee it out. And you're going to keep drinking, and you're never going to feel hydrated. And you're actually going to make your body more acidic. Absolutely. But when you drink hydrogen water or real pH water, then it's negatively charged. Your body's actually going to absorb it. I think it more than quadruples, maybe tenfold the absorption of the water. So you're going to actually get hydrated, right? And you're going to get some real water in you.
Yeah, and hydration is super important for the detoxification, for, even digestion. If you're well hydrated, you're able to have better functions all throughout your body. And, there's a lot of signs of being dehydrated, like dry skin, dry lips, even joint pain. So when you're actually hydrated well, you're able to decrease all of that, because this water is actually anti-inflammatory, because it's actually not oxidizing your body. It's actually creating the opposite effect. So you're gonna get an anti-inflammatory response when you're drinking the right quality water. And we understand that, not everybody has access to this machine, but, you gotta make sure that you make the best that you can, the best choice that you can for the water that you can get. Like, even just getting a filter for your home.
Well, we'll help them get the machine. We'll give you a very special deal. Yes, I mean, this is a product that, through the company that we can distribute. You have to understand that. But Fiji, it's just about, it's good water in terms of minerals, but it's about 7.2 pH or something like that. So, I mean, Fiji is probably one of the better ones. Volvic was a good one. I can't even find it anymore. I don't even think you can have Volvic anymore. You don't even see Volvic anymore. It didn't light up. Fiji didn't light up. That's interesting. Hold on, let's make sure that. No? Put it in the other one? Yeah, so Fiji didn't even light up. There's living water. Look how strong it lights up. It lights up real strong. Look how strong it lights up. Super. That means it's full, it's rich in minerals. It'll add hydrogen to it. It'll hydrate it. That would be your cheapest and best and easiest option, especially for traveling. You can take a H2 fuel and then pour in good mineral water in it. You have to pour in good mineral water. In Turkey now, plastic bottles are becoming banned. Water has to come in glass bottles now.
Because now they're finding that it's not just microplastics, it's actually nanoplastics. So that's why we're getting so much of plastics in our bodies.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I think there's some questions, but I don't know if we want to wait.
So with the living water, it removes toxins. It actually helps detox your body. Quality water actually helps flush out toxins from your body. That's why hydration is so important. So if you're dehydrated, you're also not flushing toxins out, right? Improves your water's pH level. It actually tastes amazing, tastes great. It's eco-friendly, generates water with excellent negative ORP, oxidation reduction potential for increased antioxidant properties and absorption, and then easily installs to your existing faucet with no special plumbing. So,
You also don't have to buy tons of bottled water.
Exactly. It's going to pay for itself
saves you money.
Within easily 6, 7, 8
months. And have you ever drank a bunch of water and you just feel so full and you're just like, oh, full of water? The living water doesn't, you'll never feel that way because your body is absorbing it.
And obviously it's going to pay for itself. You're never going to have to buy bottled water again. We do not buy bottled water at home ever.
And it's actually amazing because, our cells
So here's information about it. For those that want to purchase one, come see us afterwards. We'll work a deal with you.
Yeah, and our cells have these membranes called aquaporins. And the reason why it's so important to have that negative ORP is because our cells are able to receive it. And the aquaporin is actually positively charged. When you drink the living water or even the H2 fuel water, is gonna have the negative ORP. I actually had somebody tested the ORP with an ORP meter that actually tests the electricity, and it actually puts negative 800 ORP just by putting the water on the H2 fuel. So that's actually really awesome. And let me go back to my seat now, but we'll help you at the end, you know, and.
Great demo. Thank you, Danielle. So we used to do these weekly here when we had the business meetings. We haven't done them in a while, but you know, and then the machines that you see, right, plugged in around the church, and those are also from the same company, and those are based on a NASA technology that creates active pure molecules that actually is not a passive but an active air sanitation system, sending the solution to the pollution. It destroys pathogens in the air. 99.9% of pathogens, including COVID virus and all these other things, mold, fungus, which is the hardest to kill because spores, but it even kills them, bacteria, and of course VOCs, and viruses. So we sanitize the air. We don't spray anything here. We don't spray chemicals. So the air is sanitized. It gives that mountain fresh, air. People comment all the time, what do you spray in the air? The air in the church is so nice. We don't spray anything. We actually just sanitize it. And then it also comes with one that can release ozone. And I have one at home too. Sometimes if you cook something and you get that smell, just turn on the ozone. In 15 minutes, the air is totally sanitized. All the smell is gone.
And clean air, clean water, this is all part of our health journey because we are what we absorb. And if you have a bunch of toxins at home, even like from new furniture, when you're getting new furniture from Amazon or IKEA or whatever, this is full of formaldehyde. When you buy a mattress, this is super toxic. And, we want to try to solve the problem, in an easy way that is actually affordable. It's not even, it's something that everybody could have at home. You just have to prioritize your expenses. Sometimes we go get our nails done every 2 weeks, and that costs a lot of money, and that's very toxic. I actually stopped doing my nails.
Exactly.
For 6 months.
Right. So creating a healthy living environment with the air and the food, right? And as she's talking about the furniture and stuff that you bring in, that new car smell, well, it's releasing VOCs. What's VOC? Volatile organic compounds, which come from synthetic materials that are manufactured. They're releasing these toxic fumes and other things. They're off-gassing, basically, for the first, few weeks or months of the product. Eventually, they will completely off-gas, but then that off-gassing is not good, right?
Yeah, and depending on how your immune system is, you could be on a toxic overload. If you have been eating poorly, drinking bad water, being exposed to all these VOCs, your body's weak, just having those toxins can take you to the limit where your body can crash and have an autoimmune response. And, we're here to just educate and teach you, how you can actually make your home better. Even your cleaning products, right? Like we talked about I clean only with vinegar and baking soda, and that's all I use.
Well, you can also use you can use the living water machine to reduce it to the lowest pH, which becomes acidic water, and you can just clean with acidic water.
Yeah, absolutely. You can disinfect counters and even spray like baby toys if you have a baby, and you're not putting all these chemicals on, in your family. Even to boost your laundry. I mean, we have actually another product that is called Laundry Pure. That with that you never ever have to use any detergent. So you are good. I mean, you're not gonna use any chemicals at home. So at least in that way, you're helping yourself to not overload your system.
Right. It takes the same active pure product molecules that goes into the air. It puts it in the water, which is superoxides, hydroxyls, and hydrogen peroxide, and it just uses natural cleansing agents that even the earth, the atmosphere generate to sanitize the air. You wash your clothes with cold water, so you save on hot water. You save on all the hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of detergents, which are also toxic, Tide, and these all they're actually very, very, very carcinogen. You know, the products are very, very toxic. And the residue stays in your clothes, and you wear your clothes and your body absorbs them, because your skin is the largest, you know, organ in your body, and especially when you're out in the heat and your pores open up and you're sweating, and now all that stuff is getting into your body. That's what we talked about last week, right? Be careful about what you're putting on your body, right? Like aluminum-free deodorants and things like that, because, you know, that's also where a lot of people get aluminum into their body. They put it under their, you know, armpits, you know, deodorant, and then all that aluminum in it, your body absorbs it. Now you got all this aluminum accumulating in your body that's gonna make you sick. That's gonna, you know, be toxic. It's a heavy metal and it's toxic. So it's terrible.
Lymph nodes are right under our armpits.
Exactly,
you know?
the lymph node. That's why people end up getting cancer, especially a lot of women end up getting, you know, breast cancer just from these things. And the fake estrogens, of course. Who can talk about fake estrogen?
Well, the xenoestrogens come even from the plastics, from these bottles, or from everything, because we're eating so many things that come in a plastic bag or in a plastic container. But, you know, you want to elaborate a little more?
Just certain foods that we eat. A lot of Chinese food has a lot of soy in it. Soy has fake estrogen in it. Tofu has a lot of estrogen in it, fake estrogen. And then there are just the things that we're eating on a daily basis. Again, when we put those chemicals, like Pastor Corey and Daniela were saying, that actually disrupts our endocrine system, and our endocrine system ends up affecting our hormones, which ends up creating either high estrogen or even a tank of estrogen. So that's something you got to keep in mind. Those chemicals that you're putting on your body is not only affecting your gut, but it's also affecting your hormones. And again, that's why breast cancer is very high, because again, we're having very high increase of estrogen in our daily life. So.
And also a lot of men are not manly anymore. They're very girly. They become feminized and girly. No, fake estrogens making men more girly. Soy boys. It's true.
No facial hair.
It is a fact. Nothing. It is a proven, researched fact. Maybe you're hearing it for the first time, but it's true.
You gotta be careful even with protein shakes that they don't have protein isolate, because it's gonna be elevating estrogens in men, women, and everybody.
I will say also, anyone who, for women mostly, 100% women, your bras, you need to make sure that you're very cautious about the underwires, because you really should not be using that, because that's really disrupting your lymph nodes. And it's, again, contributing to possible breast cancer in the future. And it goes for tight clothes in general. Like, you really should wear looser clothes, because, again, that's just compressing all of your lymphatic system.
So now that you opened a can of worms, no polyester. Throw away all polyester. You should only be wearing cotton, linen, any natural fiber product. Everything's polyester, 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 nylon on your body. That's also very toxic. That's also very bad for you. Polyester is very, very bad. Huh? Cotton, Turkish cotton, I'm just teasing. But cotton, linen, modal, they say. I think it's also made from fibers. It's spelled M-O-D-A-L, modal. And obviously anything that maybe could be, you know, bamboo or whatever, but it's got to be anything synthetic. So there's a lot of stuff I've been researching lately also about, you know, fabric. Synthetic fabric is also not good for you. Come on, jump in some more.
So I would just like to encourage everyone. Again, this is a lot of information. There is a lot of different things happening. And you just got to remember that I think the best solution is to just one thing a week start changing. And so it becomes less overwhelming, and you don't feel like it's something that you can't do, because all of us can do this. We can. It's just taking that one step, one foot in front of the other, and just making a conscious choice that you're going to start reading labels, that you're going to start being careful on what you ingest, on what you're putting on your body. And again, managing your sleep, your rest, your exercising. How are you moving? How is your stress in your life? How are you managing that? Because that's also key too in an overall health. So, yeah.
So I know, sorry, I got my foot on the gas. Ladies, put on the brakes. Lexi's like, Pastor, you're telling him too much. Go ahead.
One thing that I do want to say too that Gloria mentioned to me when I first started the detoxing for her with her is just about like quality of life and things like that. She asked me one thing and that I didn't have, and and she asked me like, do I have a hobby? And I think some of us like we want to work, and we want to just get things done all the time, and that gives us like, but taking time to like have a hobby and to rest is very important. And like just not just resting body as in like laying in bed all day, like resting your mind and enjoying a day off and having, a day where you're doing something that you enjoy doing, and allowing creativity to flow, and just taking aside, even if it's not a whole day, but just some hours where you're putting your phone away and you're shutting off your mind to work and what you need, because you're always going to have something that you need to get done. But that's part of the discipline that you have to have in your life, and you have to enjoy life, right? God put us on the earth and the planet, not, to enjoy. Amen. So take time to enjoy yourself and enjoy this life that He has blessed us with.
Take a soul vacation.
Amen.
Question, is church a hobby?
Church is major detox, major organic nutrition, river churches. Obviously, church, listen, no, but it's a good question. A part of your health and wellness is being under the anointing and in the Word. In church, and also renewing your mind and feeding yourself. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. So a lot of the worry and the anxiety and the stress will also be eliminated when you renew your mind and meditate on the Word. So you gotta also you gotta be in the Word. I mean, we cannot obviously discount. We are getting into a lot of practical and natural side of health and wellness, but obviously the spiritual side is massive. And of course the soulish side, the mind, is massive, right? So, but we do that already a lot in the services. So this is more tailored towards the practical, natural stuff. You are what you eat. You are what you drink. You are what you breathe. You are what you put on. All of these things to really start working on these things. And I know it's hard for me because I'm dumping on you years and years of accumulation. But I didn't accumulate, all this in one day. But I started somewhere. I made a decision. And every week I learned something new, and I tried to implement as much as I could. Yes, let's take questions now.
What is the best thing to take to help you sleep, to get that quality amount of sleep that you need?
What is it again?
The quality of sleep. She wants to know what to
Well,
take.
I mean, okay, this is a big question, and there's no single answer because I don't know. My issue, like there was a time I wasn't sleeping well at all, and when I talked to Dr. Moika and she looked at things, it was my cortisol level was maxed out. So I had to get my cortisol level down because that's the stress hormone, and I'm lying in bed at night and my cortisol is off the charts, and so I've learned how to bring the cortisol down. Obviously there's things I have to do, calm down, meditate, rest, so forth, and then there was things that I took to help, But then it's different for different people. Is it anxiety or worry that's keeping you up? Is it a cortisol? Is it a hormonal disruption? Is it the stuff you're eating? You're eating too late.
Blood
Whatever. Sugar. So it could be it's such a big question. There's no one single answer.
Screen time.
Screen time.
Yeah.
You got to be off. What time you go to bed?
The blue light and the screen, and it keep you,
Yeah, and sleep hygiene, which means put your phone out of your room. Don't put it in your bed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Don't charge it next to your head.
Yeah.
Please, don't even have it in your room. If you're going to have it in your room, it's got to be at least 10, 12 feet away.
Yeah.
And take natural stuff too to help you calm, like magnesium and ashwagandha.
Yeah, magnesium glycinate
Yeah.
and magnesium L-threonate are good ones for sleep. I did a whole study on magnesium a few weeks ago, all the different kinds of magnesium, what magnesium oxide, magnesium citrate is, what magnesium glycinate. And there's a lot of good information on YouTube as well. You can watch a lot of videos, but I learned about magnesium magnesium is one of the most important things. It's like, you know, it's very, very important for your body, magnesium. But there's different kinds of magnesium, and they all do different things. Like magnesium citrate is...
bathroom.
Huh? Yeah, to bowel movement. Magnesium, but magnesium glycinate, more calming the nerves and, you know, all that stuff. Muscles. Magnesium taurinate, the same. So I'm actually right now, I take a cortisol, all natural, herbal cortisol balancer. And I just, you know, and then I do magnesium. You can also do melatonin, but you got to be careful with melatonin, how much you do. But again, you got to go to the root cause of why you're not sleeping. Maybe it's too much caffeine. Yeah. Maybe you're drinking too much caffeine. The moment you just count out all the caffeine, you're going to sleep like a baby. You're probably going to have some withdrawal symptoms, but you're going to have to break through. So it's such a big question. It's hard to give you an exact answer on that one.
There's like a rule of thumb about caffeine. If you have, I mean, I know Gloria's like, it's not good for you, but like if you know, try not to have it past noon. A lot of people, I see it even around the church, they're like drinking at 7 and 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, you guys are crazy. Like, if you don't think it's gonna, it is affecting you. You don't think it is, but it is.
One thing with the melatonin, just be careful, just less is more with melatonin. So if you're gonna take melatonin, make sure that you're like in the 2 to 3 milligrams max. Don't go and buy a 20 milligram melatonin. You don't need that. You start with a little bit, you know, and that's not the solution. You gotta get to the root cause. But you know, if you're having issues, you can try it, but just go very low.
Yeah. Again, the root cause is the big thing. You always got to go to root, and that's what holistic practice is about: going to the root, not just trying to, fix the surface issue or whatever. That's what pharmaceutical industry about. Just giving you medication for the surface stuff. They never go to the root, you know. So, the integrative holistic medicine is about understanding the root causes of things. Right? It could be a hormonal issue. It could be, you know, some ladies could be, you know, going into, you know, perimenopause or menopause, and that could be doing that. It could be, you know, it could be your diet, it could be your stress, it could be your lifestyle, it could be what you're drinking, the sugar, the caffeine, all of that stuff. So, and if you're still doing all the sugar and the caffeine and everything, and you're trying to now take melatonin and whatever else, that may not even help much at all, you know? Yeah. So maybe, you know, there's like, people end up having like twitching and restless leg syndrome and things like that, and that's all from the stress, the cortisol. That was what was happening to me. I'd lie in bed, my legs were just like, what in the world is going on? Like, what is that? And it was cortisol. It was cortisol. And then when I fixed my cortisol, and then everything was fine. And that affects your adrenal glands, you know. So anyways.
Yeah, I will say that 20% of melatonin is created in the pineal gland, and 80% of it is created in the gut. So it could also, again, that's just saying that there are so many different reasons why people can't sleep, people have insomnia, but a lot of it can end up coming because your gut's no longer able to produce the melatonin that it was because of a slew of other things that are going on. So it's really just about, again, like everyone has been saying, just get to the root cause of the sleep issue and start cutting things slowly to try to figure out what exactly is causing your sleep issue.
And I'll touch base real quick on the caffeine late at night. You know, we talk about 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, people drinking caffeine, and they think,
or energy drinks.
Energy drinks, anything like that. And they think, well, they go home and they lay their head down and they go to sleep, right? You think you slept 8 hours, but you're not actually getting rapid eye movement sleep. You're not actually getting rest. So physically your body is laying down, but your mind's not shutting off, right? So there's a process there that you need good rest. So
Deep
you
sleep,
might wake up in the morning and feel very lethargic and still feel like, man, I slept 8 or 10 hours, but you know, I still feel real tired. You know, there's other things out there you can utilize, Oura rings, you know, your watch, different things that you can track your sleep to see how your patterns are, to see the amount of deep sleep that you're actually getting, right? You know, so you kind of want to just utilize these things as tools. You know, a lot of these things, the living water, all these different things, they're tools that you guys can utilize. Doesn't mean you have to have them all the time.
Can you come to the middle? We get you on camera.
Oh, sorry about that.
Sorry.
So, you know, let's set a base pace here, what you guys are looking for. So if you track your sleep, you'll be able to know, okay, well, if I cut the caffeine out at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, did I get better sleep, right? Let's track these things. So, in that instance, you might think that 6, 7, 8 o'clock, caffeine doesn't bother me. Like I can take it any time of the day and I can go to sleep. But are you getting the actual, the rest that you need, So tracking those things is very important, and just utilizing the tools, right? Different apps, different tools, and do what's best for you, and keep it simple. I think the thing is, a lot of times people try to get started too fast and too much. But if you keep things simple and make those small little 1-degree shifts, just a little bit here and a little bit there, over the long term, if you're consistent with it, that's the key. You have to be consistent with it. I can go walk 15 miles today, but if I'm not consistent with the little things, the 1, 2, 3 miles a day, and you keep that going for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, that's where you're gonna see the results. You're not gonna see it from doing 15, 20 miles in one day, right? What can we do to make the shift a little bit at a time to make your lifestyle better, to become the greatest version of who God created you to be, right? So little shifts, little bit at a time.
Very good stuff. I want to do something here real quick. I want to receive the offering now, then go to question and answer, because I always end up forgetting. And then, so we're going to receive the offering this evening, all right? So obviously this is a free seminar, but we want to give you an opportunity to sow back to the church and be a blessing. You'd pay hundreds of dollars for this kind of education. We spent thousands of hours, and they've spent thousands of dollars just on certification. They're imparting this free to you. So let's be a blessing to the church. And we're all doing this voluntarily, but we're going to receive the offering as we always do on Thursday nights. So this is a love offering for the church. So if you need an offering envelope, lift your hands for one. Ushers will get one to you. Okay, you can make your checks out to River Church. You can give by cash or credit card. Ask the Lord what He would have you do, and just sow and be a blessing. And then you can also give electronically, give through Zelle, give through Cash App, give through PayPal. You can see that, or give through Church Center app with credit card giving. You can also do text giving. Text any dollar amount to 84321. And then we're going to give you an opportunity to sow tonight, and then we'll continue with question and answer. I think we're going to do a third. You guys want to do a third week? You sure? You want to do a third week? And I think I'll have one up here too. We'll talk about some manly stuff. Because man's stuff is a little bit different than women's stuff. I understand that. Like, we don't wear bras, but.
That's right. Yeah, we didn't even get into detox, which is a big subject. Nutrition, so we got supplements and detox we're going to have to cover next week. We'll show a picture of the organs and talk about what they do. Oh my God, I know the digestive tract. Oh my God, I know everything now. I know where the bile duct is. I know what bile does. Oh my God, everything. I mean, I had to learn everything to help Rose, myself, so still learning, but it's been crazy. It's been crazy. So what did we cover tonight? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to stick to a subject, it's such a big subject. We covered nutrition.
Water.
A lot, water. We covered some about exercise. Immune system. We have to cover more on the immune system for sure, and detoxing and supplements. So, but exercise is vital. And, thank God we live in the sunshine state. I mean, you got to get out in the sun, especially the morning sun.
Yes.
For, minimum 50 minutes. If you can do 30 minutes, do that, but sit out in the sun. It's important for, vitamin D. It's important for your immune system. It's important for a lot of things. So sun is very, very important for you. Yeah, I mean, I literally forced Pastor Rose to go sit out in the sun. She doesn't like it. I'm like, you come in sitting out here with me in the sun. I just make her. I make her every day because she doesn't get out as much as she used to. So I make her sit in the sun, And it's very important to do that. Go out in the sun.
Yeah, it's very important to get in the sun, especially in the morning, just starting, that and,
also
even
for
grounding.
sleep cycle to reset and take your sunglasses off. I was going out in the sun with my sunglasses, and Dr. Moika said, you can't have sunglasses on. Your eyes have to have the sunlight come in.
First 30 minutes.
For the first 30 minutes. It helps reset your biological clock and everything. That was the other thing. My biological clock was off. That's why my cortisol was low during the day, and I'm like, and high at night. And I'm like, wired. So that's another issue.
And about the sleep too, a lot of people think, oh, if I just go to bed later, I'll get more rest. And that's not true, that.
Our bodies
Gloria.
have a clock, the circadian rhythm.
Yes.
And you have to really get back on that schedule to get the proper sleep. So it's very, very important. Sleep is where we repair, right? Sleep is where our body actually heals. So when we get that sleep, if you're working out and you're tearing muscles or you're doing things like that, that's the manly stuff that Pastor Corey was talking about, right? Then your body heals at night, and it's very important, the circadian rhythm. You guys can look that up. You really need to get back to that.
So sleep, again, it's the surface issue, but what is underlying of the sleep issue? This could be so many things, various vitamin deficiencies. It could be magnesium deficiency in your body. It could be the stuff you're adding in, like the caffeine and the sugar and everything. It could be you're not getting out in the sun. So many different things. So look at your lifestyle, and maybe one of the things that we talked about applies to you, right? And then that will be the case. Yes.
Yeah, and there's essential supplements that we all are most lacking of, like the magnesium, vitamin D3 plus K.
Mm-hmm.
All of those are things that we need, and that unfortunately we're not getting it from our diet or anything. And most of us are deficient. And I do believe in test, don't guess, but at the same time, not everybody can go through all this testing all the time. Even if you at least get a high quality supplement where you can actually give your body what it needs. Next week, we're going to talk more about supplements.
Yeah.
So we'll go over that.
And also environment too, as far as sleep. Like a lot of people, they sleep with the TV on and stuff. Like, no, that's not good. You need to turn the TV off.
You shouldn't even have a TV in your bedroom.
And turn the lights, make it very dark and cool in your room, with not things happening like beeping, beep, beep, and all that stuff. Like
no lights.
It actually
shut off everything.
It actually messes with your sleep cycle.
Yeah.
So keep it calm and peaceful in there.
Yeah, and so if you're watching TV in bed and then you turn it off and go to bed, that's terrible. You're getting all that blue light from the television. You shouldn't even be doing that. Or you're sitting in bed on your phone for an hour, going through social media, and then you put it away and you're trying to go to sleep. Now you disrupted your sleep cycle. You messed yourself up. And also remember, the last thing that you were thinking about is what's going to probably pop up in your sleep or in your dreams. So you make sure that you clear your mind before you go to sleep. And if you got worries and anxious thoughts and stuff, you got to pray through them and cast them on the Lord and meditate on some scriptures and other things before you go to bed, because whatever you're thinking on is what's going to be going over and over in your mind and your spirit, your soul throughout the night. And you may just be restless in your sleep because of the stuff that you were thinking about before you went to bed, the very last thoughts you had.
I heard one preacher say that he takes a scripture every single night, and like before he goes to bed, and he just meditates on it as he's sleeping, right? Like as he's going to bed, he just thinks on that scripture. And that's the last thing he's thinking on before he goes to bed.
Exactly. And I mean, be careful. I'll tell you right now, this was something I had to deal with. Being in ministry, I'm going to bed, and I'm thinking about every single person that left the church the last year. Where the heck is this coming from? It's the devil trying to stir me up. I'm like, no, I release them all. I forgive them. I bless them. And I'm not even going to think about these things or what they said about me or this one or that one. I take authority over it right now in the name of Jesus, and I'm going to clear my head, because otherwise you'll be sitting there thinking about what this one did and that one did. You got to be careful. So remember also, the enemy will try to attack your mind. And I'm not immune just because I'm a pastor. I'm actually getting under more attack than all y'all put together most of the time. So please understand that, because we deal with so much. You deal with your own issues. I deal with mine and y'all's. So, yeah. So, I mean, pray and clear your mind. It's important to have, rest for your soul, right? And meditate on scriptures that help you go into a state of rest. Not anxious or worried, but restful and quiet mind. And so these are important things also, right? All right, let's receive the offering. Sorry, guys. And then so next week, we're going to talk about detoxing. And she's going to talk to you about her whole system. They have a whole system. She works with that, can detox. And then Lexi went through it, and so we'll talk about detoxing. You can come into about certain things that help detox. We can talk about fasting. We can talk about flushing and liver cleanses and things like that. And then we'll talk about supplements. There's some of y'all have supplements you went and bought at Walmart or, Walgreens, spent $20, $30, $40 on, and you're taking them. And you're fooling yourself thinking that I'm taking supplements and they're doing nothing for you. Your body's not even absorbing it. You might as well take them and flush them down the toilet, really. So that's another part of the whole thing to the supplements. They're all synthetic stuff that your body doesn't even absorb, right? So you are what you absorb. You're not what you take. You can be taking supplements and it's not doing anything for you. Mm-hmm. Or you could be taking supplements and actually damaging you, Pastor Rose was taking calcium for many, 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 many years, and she had too much calcium, so she had to stop. Yeah, so you got to know what you're doing also. You can't just go off of somebody saying something on social media. Oh, you need to be taking, this and that, and then you go buy it and start taking this and that. It's from some infomercial, but you got to be careful. So, what does your body need? And so through blood work, functional labs, you can determine what your body needs, what you're short. Urinalysis, saliva testing, stool tests, a lot of these things can help identify where you're at. And it's going to cost you some money, but you're going to need to do it. You're going to need to do it at some point. Go find the money because this is your health. This is very, very important because you need to know what you're deficient in, right? You may find out you're deficient in certain vitamins. You may deficient in iron, deficient in different things, so, all right?
Yeah. And, just to add on that, sometimes when we are deficient in iron, you just don't jump to iron, Sometimes it's that you are deficient in copper, and copper could bring the iron that is stored in your muscles and actually get you back at the level that you need. So just don't go and start iron just because you were deficient. And sometimes when you go to your medical doctor, they're just gonna be like, oh yeah, take this iron stuff. Oh. It's so much more than just the superficial things.
Exactly. So let's take questions. Vaughn's gonna carry the mic around, and so let's take a question. Mr. Craig, you have a question? Yes, sir.
Observation. Depending on where you live in Palm Beach County, your water system is terrible. They constantly put so much chlorine in, over 12%, that if you're not filtering that out, when you take a shower, all you've done for this stuff is completely erased. When you can take your finger, and that's how we figured it out. And I'm not authority on this, but I'll tell you what, when we put a Pelican in, which is a couple different barriers, big filters, it felt so much better. We were taking, because it's not just that, it's formaldehyde, and it's fluoride, and most of us don't drink the water out of the tap. No. What are you doing taking a shower with the same stuff?
Right. So in the water I was going to mention, my entire house is filtered, because also when you're showering in hot water, again, your pores open up, all that chlorine and bromine, your eyes get red, itchy, your skin gets itchy. So and also obviously there's other microtoxins in the water as well. So I have my entire house filtered. When we bought the house that was ours, we could finally do it. So I've got a 0.2 and a 0.2, a 0.2 and a 0.02 micron filter. First, everything goes through, and then my house is not reverse osmosis because I don't like RO. That's bad. It strips the water down. We saw that already. So it's all organic earth materials, 17 different kind of earth materials in a huge tank, and it goes through and filters it and everything, and then it's got a digital back flush and all that. So Cost me about $5,000, but everything, you know, even brushing your teeth, you know, you can get parasites just from the water where you brush your teeth even, you know. So you got to have your entire house filtered, because ultimately taking a bath, or if you, especially if you soak in a bathtub, you're soaking in chlorine and bromine water. I also I don't go into pools. I don't like going into pools. I'll go into the ocean. I don't like going into, if I ever have a pool, I don't have a pool, but if I ever have a pool, it'll be a saltwater pool. I won't do chlorine and all that stuff. I hate that chlorine on my body anyways. I don't like pools. And plus, pools are rife with infections and bacterias and all kinds of stuff and parasites. So now that what I know now, I'll never go into a pool. I'm sorry, a public pool. Especially.
We do have a handout about hydration and water. And, you know, it has some recommendations in the back, you know, like what to do. Like, you know, if you can't afford a whole water system for your house, you know, what is the minimum that you can do? You know, even just getting a zero water, you know, jar that you can just filter the water that you're drinking at least, or brushing your teeth.
It's just going to be carbon filtration, but that'll help quite a bit. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Last week, you were talking about a fabric that you put over your electromagnetic...
Faraday.
Faraday.
F-A-R-A-D-A-Y.
And where did you get that?
Amazon. You can get rolls and rolls of it. You can get pre-made Faraday bags. You know, as a matter of fact, the frequency and energetic and homeopathic stuff I keep in a Faraday bag, so that, because like, you got to be careful too. Like, if you have like homeopathic stuff, you can't put it like next to a plug or a cell phone or something. It'll actually mess it up. So it's got to be like away from an outlet. It's got to be away from a microwave or a television or a computer or any kind of, you know, electrical or electronic products. So I just keep them in Faraday bags, like all the stuff Pastor Rose has in mine. When I travel, I put them in Faraday bags and things like that. So any kind of radiation, it can't go through the X-ray radiation. So I always have to like pray and believe God. And I have this stuff. Every time I was going to Turkey, I had like 10 bottles of stuff. I'm like, this is special medicine and it can't go through the X-ray. My doctor told me, and they're like, do you have a paper for that? I'm like, no. And you always get different responses, you know. But Finland was the best. When I went there, I said, this is special medication. It's not supposed to go through the X-ray. They said, yes, sir, we understand. I'm like, wow. And then they had a whole special procedure for it, and they were ready. In Turkey, they called the terrorist police. They interrogated me for 20 minutes on what it was. I'm serious. It was crazy. I was like, huh? The what? Yeah, especially anything that's energetic frequency, homeopathic, I put them in the Faraday bags to keep the radiation out so it doesn't mess up the frequencies in them. Otherwise, they'll get messed up.
And just to clarify on the pool that Pastor was talking about, in the saltwater pool, don't think it's like jumping in the ocean. Saltwater pool actually does generate chlorine too. It just, you can control the amount of chlorine that goes into the pool all the time. So the salt actually goes over a titanium cell that actually then generates it into a chlorine. But you can actually, you can control the amount then. A saltwater pool is much better. So is it a better choice?
It's Absolutely. A better choice, but
yeah.
Yes.
So you explained about not having your phone next to you when you're sleeping. Well, how bad are smartwatches?
Oh, I don't wear an Apple Watch.
I don't have one, but I know a lot of people do. And
I'm not a big fan of smartwatches. I wear mechanical watches.
Yeah.
I don't want to put anything digital or electronic on my wrist.
You have another question?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no problems in sleeping. Every night before I go to bed, I have to take, what do you think I said? Mint tea. Every night I take some mint tea.
Okay.
And after I take my mint tea, I sleep. And then when I get up, it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Yeah. So tea, green tea, mint tea has something called L-theanine. And that's, you'll actually find that as an ingredient in a lot of the sleep products and stuff. And green tea has that. I believe peppermint tea have chamomile and peppermint has. So yeah, and you can also buy L-theanine just as a supplement by itself. It just helps calm things down. You know, that's what that is. Yes.
So you were talking about blue light being emitted from phones.
Yes.
I work in the car industry. I work for GM, for those that don't know. We're seeing a lot of cars, a lot of new cars coming out is all digital screens. But what I also notice is that I'm not sure if manufacturers are placing something that is emitting or restricting blue light, because that's what people are going to be focused on anyways. Also, if you've noticed on the streets, notice that all the high pressure sodium lights that were once yellow are now white lights, which is also emitting blue light. So, and also in terms of household lighting, what kind of household lighting would you prefer? Instead of, you know, bright white or daylight, is it like yellow, you know, soft white, or trying to go back to incandescent?
Yeah,
because we can't go back to incandescent
Exactly,
anymore.
everything's gone LED and blue light. You're right. Obviously, the old incandescent yellow lights were much better, even for reading. Even I don't know if you're familiar that having books printed on a more yellow paper is better for reading than white paper. Do you realize that? So in the old days, they used to print books more on like this yellowish paper, and it was easier on the eyes. So yeah, everything's going blue, 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 blue. I don't know if that's by design or whatever's going on, but it is what it is. Everything's going the blue light, you know, daylight, blue light, LED. So yeah, all these lights coming at me. I gotta go. Yeah, question, yes.
Can I make a statement too? I had a lot to say. Like when I hear this kind of stuff about health, like my brain is like, oh, I just want to add to that. I just want to, you know, like that's how I am.
All right. What you got?
L-theanine, right? For example, everything is a precursor to something, right? Sleep is a precursor to something. This chemical is a precursor to something. L-tyrosine is a precursor to, or an aftercursor of L-dopa, then that creates dopamine. You know, serotonin is one of the most important chemical compounds in our body. 80% of it is constructed in our gut biome. 18% in our mind, 2% in our eyes, right? That's why melatonin actually looks like serotonin, because it actually breaks a molecule off, creating melatonin inside the pineal gland, right? Everything works together. Vitamins work together in order to create something. Vitamins work together in order for something to work well. Because in our body, what we have is bridges, right? It's like, think of traffic. We have a bridge, another bridge, another bridge. If we don't have certain vitamins, certain bridges are closed off, so people have to take different routes in order to get and create new chemicals.
Exactly.
Right? That's how it works in the human body. And for instance, caffeine. Adenosine and caffeine are so similar in chemical structure. That's what a drug is. A drug is a chemical compound that resembles something that is naturally produced and accepted in the brain. Adenosine actually is overly created when we have more caffeine. So what happens is our brains has to make more adenosine receptors, right? Creating in order to have more caffeine in order to have the same effect. So what the brain does is that creates withdrawals, right? And without caffeine, we're more tired in the day without it. So that's the problem with a lot of drugs. That's all a drug is, right? It's just a chemical that looks like another. Anyway, so yeah, everything is a precursor
Well,
to
what you
something.
said is correct. So it's not just one thing. That's what we were trying to say. The root, you know, precursors, things like even certain vitamins. You know, you have to have other things that you, if you will actually look at, for example, a B complex vitamin, there'll be other things in there, not just B vitamins, because without those other things, the B vitamins will not be properly processed or absorbed or whatever. So there's so much that's connected, and that's why you got to be able to go to the root cause of what's going on, you know. For me, when I started with Dr. Moika, I was low on testosterone and various other hormones but she said it was actually the root hormone, which is DHEA, that I was deficient. So when I started to regulate that, and she added that to me, so, you know, you go to a regular doctor, they're just going to give you testosterone cream or testosterone pill or whatever. you know, or thyroid. They're going to try to, you know, why is your thyroid not functioning? There's probably something else going on, right? Talk about the thyroid.
Yeah, so with thyroid hormones, what ends up happening is that because our liver filters out hormones, when our liver is very congested due to other chemicals that we've had, other toxins that we have come and passed, the foods that we're eating, our thyroid is no longer able to produce what it was doing, or it is overproducing based on the fact that, again, when your liver is congested, now your thyroid thinks that it needs to produce more because it's not being pushed out the way it needs to through our detox pathways. And so a lot of people who are, well, it just depends. So some people who are on thyroid medication, it's actually due to the fact that they're having detox issues and they're unable to filter the way they need to. So again, it just depends on, you know, getting the real labs and understanding that one thing comes before the other, and understanding that you need to make sure that with your thyroid that it's not something that's deeper going on.
Right. And that was one of the issues with Pastor Rosa. Thyroid back in October was everything was off, and then they were just trying to give thyroid stuff. And then when we finally found Dr. Bernstein, it was her liver. Her liver volume was almost rock bottom. Her liver function was like at 20%. It was so congested when the liver started to clearing up the thyroid stuff, you know. So you see, it's not, you got to go to root. You got to know what's going on. And so that was important for her. It was a liver issue, right? And liver is very important because all the enzymes come, you know, well, the bile comes from the liver. It's a filter organ. Pancreas is important because it releases all the pancreatic enzymes. The bile has to flow. If the bile duct is clogged up because of a parasite or something else, then the bile is not flowing. You're not digesting your fats. You're not lubricating your intestines. Your liver's congested. It's not flushing out the toxins, and it's a major issue. So everything in the digestive is connected, you know. You gotta know what's going on. But a lot of the root cause. Okay, the best way I've heard it explained is, right. Okay, so let's say somebody flushed a diaper in one of the toilets here last year. And guess what it did? It clogged up the pipes. And guess what happened? Everything got backed up and overflowing inside, right? So if your gut is plugged up, everything's gonna get flushed up. Instead of going down, out, the toxins, it's gonna get all back up, recirculate, go to your brain, go to your lung, go to every other place. That's why this is vital. 80% of your immune system is here. This is also called the second brain, and it can affect many things. A lot of people are having emotional and issues, but it's actually gut related, right?
Yeah, and it may not be just one root cause. There could be several. And I think some people get confused and say, and think that, oh, well, how do we know what came first? We will never know, was the chicken before the egg. We just know that there are many things in play. And when you start slowly taking those things out and plucking them out of the way, then your body starts to heal. But there could be several things that maybe down the line, it could have been from childhood, it could have been from a past trauma, it could have been emotional trauma, physical trauma. And these are the things that we just have to understand, that even though there are many things that could play, you don't really want to just focus on one specific thing. It's overall how the body's doing and how you're able to fix it.
And if there are multiple things, you're gonna have to prioritize, because you may not be able to go after all of them at the same time. That could actually be dangerous.
Correct.
So you're gonna have to prioritize, peel it like one layer at a time, right?
Slowly.
Yeah, next week we're gonna get into like how to open the detox pathways and what you can do to do that. Because when you're detoxing, you have to be able to eliminate these toxins. If you can't, they're gonna recirculate, and you can have what is called a Herxheimer's reaction, which means that your whole body can get toxic from all the toxins that are already recirculating, that you actually, when you took them out, they couldn't go out. So you gotta prepare your system to be able to detox correctly. But you know, one practical thing that you can start is just take one thing each week, just or each day. I mean, who followed what we said last week to only drink water? Did anybody do that? Ricky, okay, good. So you only drink water. So, when you eliminate everything that you're drinking that is not giving you any nutrition or anything that is gonna impact your life, and you're just having water, at least you're eliminating that load of toxins. But, even with the food, the same thing, try to eliminate some of the processed foods that you're consuming, snacks. You don't need a snack, and if you need a snack, you can have some healthy nuts.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. So at least start by reducing the toxins that's going into your body. And then your body can start flushing out some things, and then you can start to learn to detox and other things and get healthy. And it's not going to happen overnight or a week. It could be a year plus. And then you have to maintain. Depending, the best example Dr. Mocha said to me is for every year, you need a month. If you had an issue for 10 years, you should expect about 10 months to get completely out of it. People want to get it done in 10 days, and it's not going to happen. So, and then, another thing that you have to understand, the slower you go, the faster you get there. So that's another thing, important thing in counseling, especially when it comes to mental or, soul or spiritual issues, and you're doing counseling and bringing healing to people. Slower you go, the faster you get there. People have a lot of issues and traumas and other things, and you can't just hit it all at once. It can blow up, and they can actually mess them up. Same thing when you're starting to detox. People just, they see something online. Hey, take this to detox from heavy metals, and take this to do that. And it's about the dumbest thing you can do, because they're not giving you the full truth, because it's actually a whole process. And if you're not ready to detox, you can actually get very sick from it.
Especially heavy metals. So never start a heavy metal detox unless you know for a fact that you do not have any mercury fillings in your mouth, because if you do that, you're pulling out that mercury and it's gonna circulate throughout your body. And that's gonna really get you really sick. Like, it can cause like paralysis, many things. And a lot of people, I mean, I've seen x-rays from people and I see they have mercury fillings, and
I got all
you
mine
can't
out.
do those. You cannot do a heavy metal detox if you have any metal fillings, just so you know.
Yeah. So, that's the other side of it is, obviously not doing it correctly and just picking up bits and pieces here. That's why you need a system. So she has a system that she can put you on a whole phases. And then you're gonna need to have the functional labs. Don't cut corners. Don't try to go cheap. This is your life. This is your body. This is your health you're talking about. The most valuable thing you have. One of the most valuable things. So you're gonna have to, but we're giving you a lot of practical stuff to get started, but if you wanna go on a full detox, which means mold, heavy metals, parasites, toxins, all the chemical stuff out of it, it's gonna be a pretty lengthy, and it has to be a well-administered thing so that it's done right. Okay? Does that make sense? Any other questions? Let's take one more or two more, and then we'll be done. Okay, we got a question over here.
Pastor, last week you said that when you bought your meats, you were ordering them online. Can you give us the name of the company that you ordered them from?
I'm sorry?
Meat online.
Oh, meat.
Yeah.
Well, at one point I used Butcher Box, and then now we use Florida Premium Beef, grass-fed organic stuff, and they're all local farmers here in Florida. And there's some others out there, but be careful with well-known companies like Omaha Steaks and stuff like that. Their stuff is not good quality at all. And then also Alaska, we're ordering from Alaskan, oh gosh, what's the name of it? Alaskan wild, something like that. Search it, you know, it's, you get the cold water fish from Alaska that's all, you know, wild caught Alaskan or something, whatever. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so wild, if you go into wild pastures, they have grass-fed, grass-finished, and it's actually really, really reasonable. And you can get a box for 2 people, I think it's $129. For a family of 4, it's $236, and it's good quality, grass-fed, grass-finished. They have Alaskan salmon as well. Everything is real, and that's what I use. And it's
What's the name again? One more time.
Wild Pastures.
Wild Pastures.
Yes, they have and it's really reasonable, very, very reasonable.
Wild Pastures. So there's pastures, wild pastures, wild pastures. I'm a member of that one. I'm subscribed to that network. Wild Pastures, Wild Pastures, pastures. Any other questions? Any questions? Any comments?
I want to ask, how many of you, just be honest, how many of you make getting out and getting your body moving a priority every day? Raise your hand. Okay. We're challenging you this week.
When I move my body, when I move my feet.
Well, exercise, I mean, just getting out and moving your body.
And come to church and also dance.
Yeah. Okay.
But
getting out in the sun.
Get out in the
I mean,
sun.
like getting out in the sun.
Get out in the sun.
Okay, we're challenging you this week. All right.
Get your heart rate up a little
15 minutes
Your
in
heart
the
rate,
sun.
not just your normal walk to the,
All
to
right,
the grocery
start
store.
there.
Get your heart rate moving.
You can't do 15, do 10. But just do it every day out in the sun, okay? This is the challenge we're putting out. And drink more water.
And don't think that your job, because it's a little bit physical, that counts. That doesn't count. You have to be intentional, so it has to be separate from what you do for work. So you have to actually take 10, 15 minutes and do a quick walk or do, something like that, fast-paced.
Your body will get used to whatever you're doing. So even if you do physical construction work, right, and you think that that's your exercise for the day because you're out there doing that physical construction work, your body adapts. It's very adaptable. So if you do that every day, you need to do something different. If I go into the gym and I lift 225 pounds on the bench press every time, I'm never gonna see a change, right? Because my body gets used to that weight. So now what I need to do is I need to do maybe lower weight and a lot of rep, right? So you gotta confuse the body a little bit. It was the same thing Pastor was talking about when he said taking the same vitamin all the time, you need to switch it up, right? Your body's gonna get used to that vitamin. Your body's gonna get used to that nutrients that you're giving it. So sometimes you gotta create a little bit of a shift, right? The ketogenic diet, I did it for a very long time. It worked tremendously for me. But I also found when every now and then I created a little shift by maybe doing a little more carbs deep into the process, that my body actually reacted a lot different, and I actually, would maybe lose more weight after doing a little carb cycling in there, right? So you need to shift things around a little bit, and you can't just continually do the same thing all the time.
And also with food, it's important, People are like, I've been eating the same thing for breakfast for 20 years. Like, no, switch it up. Like, add some color into your food. Like, that's what Gloria was saying, to eat the rainbow. Like, eat more colors in your food and switch it up often. It's really good for your gut. And you'll actually be shockingly, you'll feel a difference, and you'll feel how much you love it.
Okay. Last question. Oh. Okay, last two, then we'll.
It's a statement and a question. I haven't heard anyone speak about oatmeal. And
what?
I love oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
And then I wanted to know if anyone know about Sprouts. Because I go to Sprouts more so than Whole Foods.
Well, oatmeal is really not healthy. That's just the truth. But oatmeal, the oats are very heavily sprayed with pesticides, and they are really not giving you any nutrition. I used to eat oats all the time, years ago, and I used to be like, oh, I'm gonna eat my oatmeal, for breakfast, and that's honestly just carbohydrates. It's not giving you anything. Whatever it has, they add it. So that is one of those foods that is called enriched. They actually add like iron and all this folic acid that is synthetic, and your body doesn't even process it. So honestly, it's not the best.
You're not going to get any nutrition.
Thing is something that is not processed.
You're not
so
gonna get anything.
eggs.
In the morning, you want to stay away from those carbohydrates and things like that because you've slept for 6, 8, 10 hours, right? So your body's at rest. And the first thing that you do is if you consume something like that, even juices and things, you're spiking your insulin, right? So you're getting a very big rush of energy. But then what you're going to find is in an hour or so, you're going to start to crash on the backside, right? So if you guys are finding out where you're always hungry, right? You're always looking for something to eat. You want to snack a lot of times. Usually what that is you're chasing your blood sugars, right? So if you check your glucose, you're going to see where you creep way up here, 120, 150, and all of a sudden you crash on the other side. And that's when your brain's like, I need more energy, right? So now all of a sudden you're looking for something else to create that again. What you want to do is you want to level that out. So if you eat rich, dense nutrient foods, proteins, things like that, you're going to stay on an even keel a lot longer. So it's going to, if you're in a state of ketosis or you're eating that way, right, what's going to happen is you burn that energy for a lot longer. You kind of think of it like this. If you're starting a campfire, right, and you put a lot of little twigs on there and you light that up, it burns real fast. That's carbohydrates. But anytime you can start to utilize fat and burn that for fuel in your body, now if you put a big log on a fire and it finally catches on, it takes a while to get ketones to actually work in your system. But once that log catches on, it burns a lot longer. You sustain energy a lot longer when you're in a state of ketosis, ketogenesis. When you train your body on how to burn fat, you create a huge shift, not only physically, but mentally too.
I just wanted to know, how do we get rid of those microplastics? What do you do to get rid of them?
Well, first of all, avoid all the plastic containers, avoid the plastic bottles, and then detox.
First detox your home, then we'll teach you how to detox your body next week.
Fox News, they had a report on those microplastics, and they said 80% of people have them in their brain.
That's what's causing ALS, Alzheimer's, all these other things are coming from. All right, last question, and we're going to finish, please. Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Do steel-cut oats fall into the same category as oatmeal?
Oats and oatmeal, yeah, same thing. Oh.
But steel-cut.
Same thing.
Same.
Yeah. Last question in the back there. Lavitra, yes.
Soy milk. Yeah.
No soy milk. Estrogens.
No soy milk. And a lot of those alternative milks are garbage. If you look in the ingredients, it's terrible, terrible, terrible. Bunch of stuff in them. They're not healthy at all. They make it sound like they're healthy, but they're not. It's just a marketing scheme.